Chapter 1745. Every time Thunder Spirit King refined a portion of the energy, he could feel that his control over the flipping sky seal had increased. Only after he had attained the Tao and become a Saint Realm expert could he completely control the flipping sky seal and become its device spirit. Even if Second Holy Master returned, he wouldn't be able to seize control of the flipping sky seal. Boom! A portion of the vast origin energy that the flipping sky seal had devoured was integrated into Ling Xiao's body, causing his aura to soar. The vast origin energy was incomparably pure, causing Ling Xiao's aura to become increasingly powerful. Soon, he stabilized his cultivation at the First Revolution Half-Saint Realm and even advanced towards the peak of the First Revolution Half-Saint Realm. Long Outyan, how dare you steal the energy of Dezhou Tian's invisible sword array? You deserve to die. Ji Chufeng, who had been indifferent, finally changed his expression. He flew into a rage and revealed an incomparably cold killing intent in his eyes. What? Long Outyan wants to steal the energy of Dezhou Tian's invisible sword array with the flipping sky seal? How did he do it? Everyone was stunned. They'd originally thought that Ling Xiao wouldn't be a match for Ji Chufeng at all, and it wouldn't be long before Ji Chufeng defeated him. But they hadn't expected that Ling Xiao would actually be so monstrous. Not only had he blocked Ji Chufeng's eternal sacred sword with his gravity domain, he'd even stolen the energy of the Grand Formation. Martial Uncle Long is really abnormal. Anai Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong were speechless and shocked. Due to Ji Chufeng's appearance, the battle between them and Lu Yun Wang Dao had temporarily stopped. Moreover, due to Ji Feishuan's voice transmission, the three of them immediately went to Ji Feishuan's side. For a moment, no one paid attention to them. Senior brothers and sisters, get ready. I'm afraid Ji Chufeng will fly into a rage out of humiliation and use the sword of Zhou Tian. Get ready to enter the martial treasury mountain with me. Ji Feishuan transmitted her voice to Anai Shang and the other two with a strange light in her eyes. Rumble. As expected, Ji Chufeng's aura skyrocketed. He opened his mouth and spat out an ancient sword shrouded in multicolored light appeared in his palm. It was flowing with multicolored light, looking mysterious and translucent. The runes on it flickered as if it contained the shadows of the myriad worlds. It was terrifying. The sword of Zhou Tian was born. With the cyclic sword in hand, Ji Chufeng's aura immediately turned extremely sharp and terrifying. Ling Xiao could sense that Ji Chufeng was currently surrounded by the major Heavenly Cycle formless sword array. With the Heavenly Cycle sword in hand, his aura had become as terrifying as Huang Tai's. It made Ling Xiao feel a sense of danger. The power of the entire Great Heavenly Cycle formless sword array instantly increased by several folds. It was terrifying to the extreme. Die! Ji Chufeng roared with a bone-chilling gaze. The Heavenly Cycle sword flowed with five-colored light as it pierced through the air towards Ling Xiao's glabella. Clang! The sword of Zhou Tian was extremely fast. It contained a sharp light that could pierce through everything. It almost instantly pierced through the layers of protective barriers around Ling Xiao and arrived in front of him. However, Ling Xiao was prepared. The flipping sky seal flashed and blocked the sword of Zhou Tian. Suddenly, the sound of metal clashing rang out, and sparks flew. Ling Xiao only felt an unparalleled divine force attacking him. The flipping sky seal trembled slightly and was sent flying. This sword of Zhou Tian is indeed extraordinary. It's definitely not a low-grade holy treasure. It's at least a middle-grade or even a high-grade holy treasure. Ling Xiao's body trembled. Holy treasures were also divided into low-grade, middle-grade, high-grade, and supreme-grade. However, a flawless holy treasure was extremely powerful and rare. Ordinary people might not know about it. Ling Xiao's flipping sky seal was already a supreme-grade holy treasure. It was a treasure that could suppress the destiny of a holy land. The collision between the sword of Zhou Tian and the flipping sky seal showed Ling Xiao that the sword of Zhou Tian was extraordinary. The power of the sword of Zhou Tian was far greater than that of the blood spirit cauldron of the elixir saint. The sword of Zhou Tian shone brightly. It instantly slashed out tens of thousands of swords in the void. Tens of thousands of sword lights were aimed at the vital parts of Ling Xiao's body, as if they were going to cut him into thousands of pieces. If it were an ordinary person, he would have been killed by the sword of Zhou Tian and been cut into pieces. However, Ling Xiao had completely refined the flipping sky seal. Moreover, the Thunder Spirit King's control of the flipping sky seal was getting stronger and stronger. Therefore, in an instant, the flipping sky seal protected Ling Xiao and released a vast gravity realm, which directly annihilated the tens of thousands of sword lights. Master, with my current cultivation, releasing the gravity realm 3 times is my limit. We can't stay here for long. Let's leave first. The Thunder Spirit King said regretfully. The vast origin energy that he had just devoured gave him a taste of its sweetness. He could even feel that if he was given more time to devour the origin energy, he would definitely be able to become a divine sage. Unfortunately, Ji Chufeng wouldn't give him that time. With the Thunder Spirit King's current cultivation, it wasn't enough to forcefully activate the gravity realm. Alright, Ling Xiao said in his heart. He had already forced Ji Chufeng to use all of his strength. The Zhou Tian invisible sword array and the sword of Zhou Tian had also appeared. Now that Ji Chufeng's strength was equivalent to Elder Huang Tai's, Ling Xiao was naturally no match for him. Buzz. At this moment, a strange fluctuation spread out. The void trembled slightly. The life source beast on Ji Feishuan's shoulder floated up. It looked lively and cute, and its body emitted a powerful aura of vitality. There seemed to be some kind of energy in the void that formed a mysterious connection with the life source beast. Suddenly, the void cracked open. Kacha! A void passageway appeared in front of Ji Feishuan. It seemed to lead to a mysterious world. There was an ancient and mysterious immemorial sacred mountain that emitted a majestic aura of vitality. Let's go! Ji Feishuan made a prompt decision and led Enai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang into the void passageway in an instant. She also knew that the 4 of them were too weak. Only after they left safely could Ling Xiao escape without any worries. Otherwise, they would only be a burden to Ling Xiao. Therefore, while Ling Xiao and Ji Chufeng were fighting, Ji Feishuan took advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention to them and opened the martial hidden mountain mystic realm with her life source beast. She decisively brought Enai Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong in with her. At this moment, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In an instant, he controlled the flipping sky seal and shot towards the void passageway like a blazing stream of light. Musashi Mountain? Ji Feishuan, how dare you betray us? Chapter 1746. Ji Chufeng knew that if Ji Feishuan entered the martial treasury mountain, he would be in big trouble. Rumble! Divine light bloomed in the sky, causing the heaven and earth to tremble violently. Ji Chufeng activated the Zhou Tian invisible sword array to the extreme. He merged with the sword merged with the array, and the array merged with the man. A terrifying energy fluctuation was emitted from his body. It gathered on the Zhou Tian sword and slashed down at Ling Xiao. The majestic sword light was like a heavenly river that spread for millions of miles. The terrifying destructive energy made everyone's scalp tingle as it slashed down at Ling Xiao. This sword could kill a saint. Ling Xiao also felt a sense of fatal danger coming from behind him. If he didn't dodge, he would be severely injured or killed by Ji Chufeng's sword even if he entered the void tunnel. If he dodged, the void tunnel would be destroyed by the sword. At that time, he wouldn't be able to escape from the divine capital. Fight! Ling Xiao roared in his heart as a trace of madness appeared in his eyes. Rumble! As Ling Xiao moved towards the void tunnel, he took out the 9 Heaven Dao Primal Chaos tablets. Like a huge armor, they stacked together and protected his back. At the same time, the Thunder Spirit King activated the Flipping Sky Seal. A vast gravity domain spread out. The Flipping Sky Seal was like an immemorial sacred mountain that contained unparalleled violent energy as it charged towards the Zhou Tian sword. Kill! Don't let him enter the martial treasury mountain. Ji Tian and the Blood Origin Alchemy Saint's eyes flashed with killing intent as they executed their powerful techniques and charged forward. However, the 2 of them were vicious. They knew that with their cultivation, they couldn't interfere in the battle between Ling Xiao and Ji Chufeng. Therefore, they attacked the void tunnel directly. As long as the void tunnel was destroyed, Ling Xiao would be like a turtle in a jar. At that time, it would be up to them to decide whether he would be killed or cut into pieces. Everyone's heart couldn't help but be on edge. Could Ling Xiao really escape from such an encirclement? If he really escaped, they had to admit that Ling Xiao would accomplish a great feat. His name would spread across the entire divine world and shake all the immortal saint lands. Rumble. The void shattered. The Zhou Tian sword struck the flipping sky seal first, causing it to tremble violently. Dazzling sword radiance bloomed like a small sun. The mighty power of the divine path gushed out and sent the flipping sky seal flying. Ji Chufeng's strength was too terrifying. By powering the major heavenly cycle formless sword array with all his strength, together with the cyclic sword strength, Ji Chufeng had the strength to slay a sage. Even though the Empyrean seal was extremely terrifying, it was unable to withstand the strike and was sent flying. Following which, Zhou Tian's sword was incomparably sharp. It didn't slow down at all as it slashed down on the 9 Heaven Dao Primal Chaos tablets at the same time. Ling Xiao could only feel an unparalleled god energy surging towards him. Just the aftershock alone caused his entire body to tremble violently. His fleshly body was almost completely destroyed. Ling Xiao could not help but feel a sweetness in his throat. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, but his gaze became even more crazed and fierce. He did not turn back. Instead, he used this terrifying power to shoot forward like an arrow. Long Aoyan, go to hell! Ji Tian's eyes were blazing with killing intent. Terrifying purple divine light bloomed around him as he punched towards Ling Xiao. An ancient emperor seemed to appear behind Ji Tian. He exuded an invincible aura that could suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The essence, qi, and spirit merged into Ji Tian's fist, causing Ji Tian's strength to explode to the extreme. The blood origin elixir saint also activated the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron. Terrifying saint aura filled the air as it smashed towards the void passage. Those who block me shall die. Ling Xiao roared angrily. His eyes were full of murderous intent. The flipping sky seal in the distance instantly turned into a towering mountain. It rumbled as it came crashing down on Ling Xiao. Ji Tian's expression changed. His fist was directly destroyed. Although he was powerful, he could not withstand the power of the flipping sky seal. He could only retreat in a sorry state. The flipping sky seal was extremely fast. It traversed the void and collided with the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron just as it was about to smash into the void passage. Boom! The 2 saint treasures trembled at the same time, and rays of divine light burst out. Ling Xiao also suffered considerable injuries. He spat out another mouthful of blood, and his aura became incomparably weak. However, he still endured it and directly shot into the void passage. Ji Chufeng, I, Long Aoyan, will remember what you did to me today. Ling Xiao's voice contained monstrous anger and killing intent. He was about to enter the mysterious Musashi Mountain through the void passage. Long Aoyan, you'd better die. Ji Chufeng's indifferent and cold voice sounded. In an instant, the void trembled. The Zhou Tian sword pierced through layers of the void and stabbed toward Ling Xiao at an extremely fast speed. The Zhou Tian sword was too fast. Ji Chufeng's attack was also extremely vicious and tricky. Even the flipping sky seal could not save Ling Xiao in time. As long as the Zhou Tian sword pierced into Ling Xiao's body, he would definitely die with the power of this powerful holy treasure, no matter how strong his body was. It seemed to be an invincible killing move. Even if Ling Xiao entered the Musashi Mountain, he would only be left with a corpse. Puff! Ling Xiao suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His body exuded a mysterious and ancient aura. A mysterious syllable burst out of his mouth. Freeze! In an instant, it seemed as if the surrounding void had become still. The Zhou Tian sword appeared behind Ling Xiao. The terrifying sword light seemed to be about to pierce through Ling Xiao's body, but it strangely stopped at this moment. It only lasted for a breath's time. However, This breath was enough for Ling Xiao to recall the flipping sky seal and block it behind him. Boom! The Zhou Tian sword and the flipping sky seal collided. Ling Xiao's body trembled violently, and cracks appeared like a spider web. He spat out a third mouthful of blood. His entire body seemed to be dyed red with blood. In an instant, he disappeared into the void passage. That's the power of time. There's a huge secret on this kid. Ji Chufeng stared in the direction where Ling Xiao disappeared with a trace of shock in his eyes. Originally, Ling Xiao had no way to dodge that sword attack. It was almost certain that he would die. However, Ling Xiao managed to dodge it in the end because his Zhou Tian sword stopped for a breath's time. That was the power of time, and also the power of taboo. According to legends, even sages found it difficult to control the power of taboo. Chapter 1747. Father, is that Long Outyin dead? Ji Tian asked expectantly. I don't know. Even if he's not dead, I'm afraid he's severely injured. Tian, I'll forcibly open the martial hidden mountain. All Saint Dao energy is forbidden there, so Long Outyin cyclic sky seal can't be used. Try to enter, find him, and kill him. As for Ji Feishuan, try to keep her alive. Ji Chufeng stared at Ji Tian and said slowly, Yes, father. Ji Tian's eyes flashed with killing intent as he nodded. So what if they entered the martial hidden mountain? Long Outyin was still a turtle in a jar. Ji Tian had decided that he would kill Long Outyin and take the cyclic sky seal and the life source beast. Everyone, Long Outyin took the life source beast from my clan. Anyone who can bring the life source beast back to me will be taught the complete secret technique of life. Ji Chufeng's eyes flashed as he glanced at Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the other geniuses from other clans. Everyone's body trembled. Then they became a little excited. That was the secret technique of life, which was ranked at the top of the 108 secret techniques of the universe. It was rumored that it contained the origin of life, and the Empress of Life in ancient times had relied on it to become a saint. However, for millions of years, countless people had entered the martial hidden mountain, but no one had been able to obtain the complete inheritance of the secret technique of life. At best, they had only obtained an incomplete version. Ji Chufeng was the only person in the entire Great Zhou Divine Nation who had mastered the complete secret technique of life. However, the secret technique of life was the foundation of the Ji clan, and even Ji Tian had not been taught it. Now that Ji Chufeng was willing to offer such a huge bargaining chip for the life source beast, everyone became excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. The reverence they had for the War God Temple and the War God Temple Master was thrown to the back of their minds. Anyway, the martial hidden mountain prohibited Saint Dao energy, and Ling Xiao was severely injured. In their eyes, there was no difficulty at all. The only difference was who was lucky enough to find Ling Xiao first. Don't worry, Your Majesty. We'll definitely bring the life source beast out and hand it to you. Everyone expressed their opinions one after another. Their eyes were filled with eagerness to give it a try. Only Ji Tian and the Blood Origin Alchemy Sage had ugly expressions on their faces. This meant that it would be difficult for them to swallow the life source beast for themselves. Rumble! Ji Chufeng stood in the air, exuding an incomparably terrifying aura. Zhou Tian's sword radiated resplendent light, and its aura was terrifying to the extreme. The Zhou Tian's formless sword formation was also pushed to the extreme by Ji Chufeng. Zhou Tian's sword radiated boundless light, and finally, it slashed down in the direction where Ling Xiao disappeared. The void shattered with a rumble and endless turbulence surged. A mysterious world seemed to have appeared in the shattered void. In particular, a mysterious mountain that seemed to have existed in the primordial times and exuded a majestic vitality that attracted everyone's attention. Mount Musashi, that was the Mount Musashi. Originally, there was still some time before the Mount Musashi could be opened. However, Ji Feishuan had used the life source beast to open the void passage, and Ji Chufeng had memorized the spatial coordinates. He didn't care whether it would damage the Mount Musashi or not. For the sake of the life source beast, he directly opened the Mount Musashi. Let's go! Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the others looked at each other and instantly leaped up, flying toward the Mount Musashi. This was an ancient secret realm. The surrounding chaotic air was filled with misty mist, and there was a powerful spatial boundary. There was only one mountain in this secret realm, the Mount Musashi. The Mount Musashi floated in the chaotic air. It was more than 1,000,000 feet tall, and it was incomparably vast, with no end in sight. Here, ancient trees towered into the sky, old vines coiled around, waterfalls flowed, and exotic flowers and plants flowed. It looked like a peaceful fairyland, filled with a faint mist that bloomed with thousands of rays of light. The mountain was ancient and majestic, and there were also powerful beastly roars coming from it. It vaguely seemed to have arrived in the ancient mythological era. In a valley surrounded by dense forests, a small lake was hidden. It looked so clear that one could see the bottom, like a mirror. Beside the lake lay a young man covered in blood. He was currently unconscious. It was Ling Xiao, who had entered the Mount Musashi. However, the thick smell of blood on Ling Xiao's body spread out, as if it had attracted something. In the distance, tree branches snapped, the earth shook, and the dense forest swayed. A huge black snake as thick as a bucket swam over. Its triangular head seemed to be made of black iron, and there was a silver sarcoma on it. It flicked its tongue, and its eyes were filled with bloodlust and coldness. The black scales on its body clanged, emitting a cold light. The huge black snake was hundreds of feet long, and it swam toward Ling Xiao. When it smelled the thick smell of blood and the majestic vitality contained in it, its eyes revealed a trace of passion. It opened its mouth, wanting to swallow Ling Xiao. At this moment, a small black seal shadow flew out and floated above the head of the huge black snake. It exploded with a majestic devouring power, and began to devour the vitality of the huge black snake. The huge black snake's eyes revealed a trace of fear. It wanted to struggle, but it found that it could not move at all. Soon, its vitality and flesh were sucked out by the small black seal. Its body shriveled, and finally, it became a pile of bones. In the Mount Musashi, the flipping sky seal could not be used. The small black seal was transformed by the Thunder Spirit King. Although he was a weapon spirit, he had not become a sage, so he was not restricted. The majestic blood and vitality were poured into Ling Xiao's body, and it made Ling Xiao's weak aura stronger. Soon, Ling Xiao slowly woke up from his coma. "Master, you're finally awake?" The Thunder Spirit King's surprised voice came into Ling Xiao's mind. "This is the Mount Musashi?" Ling Xiao looked around, and when he sensed the situation in his body, he could not help but laugh bitterly. The situation in his body was really terrible. This time, Ling Xiao was a little too careless, and he suffered an unimaginable injury. His physical body was almost destroyed, his primordial spirit was dim, and the saint energy in his body had dried up. He was like a porcelain full of cracks, and he would break at the slightest touch. "That's right. Master, this is the Mount Musashi. Master is now seriously injured, and we need to find a place to heal first. However, this place contains a rich aura of vitality, and there must be treasures of heaven and earth. As long as we can find some treasures of heaven and earth, Master's injuries will be healed quickly." The Thunder Spirit King said, "Okay, then let's heal first. Ji Chufeng will definitely not let this go. I'm afraid that there will be people entering the Mount Musashi soon. Let's leave this place first." Ling Xiao said slowly. He forced himself to activate the heaven-shrouding secret skill and concealed his aura. He was like a moving mountain rock, and did not emit any aura of vitality as he slowly moved into the depths of the forest. Chapter 1748. There is a layer of mysterious energy covering the Martial Keep Mountain. All the aura of the Holy Path is forbidden. Holy treasures cannot be used here because they are afraid of destroying the Martial Keep Mountain. Ling Xiao guessed in his heart. He used the heaven-shrouding secret skill to hide his aura and headed towards the depths of the Martial Keep Mountain. The entire Martial Keep Mountain was like the prehistoric times. It contained a majestic vitality. The ancient trees, flowers, and grass all contained a strong vitality. It was as though they were about to turn into spirits and gain their own intelligence. The spiritual mist that filled the surroundings was absorbed by Ling Xiao. It was nourishing his body slowly and alleviating his injuries to a certain extent. The flowers and grass that could be seen everywhere were comparable to spiritual medicine in the outside world. It was very mysterious. Master, I can feel that the vitality in the mountain in front is very strong. There should be some heavenly treasure. Let's go and take a look. Thunder Spirit King's voice suddenly sounded in Ling Xiao's mind. Thunder Spirit King's cultivation was extremely strong. He was close to becoming a sage. Although he could not control the flipping sky seal, his divine instinct was very strong. He could feel that there was a strong vitality in the mountain in front of him. I can feel it too. However, heavenly treasures are guarded by strong demonic beasts. We have to be careful. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the mountain in the distance and said slowly. Above the mountain, there were clouds and mist. It looked very mysterious. There were a few ancient pine trees looming in the clouds, and Ling Xiao could feel that there was a strong and obscure aura. Ling Xiao passed through the dense ancient trees and followed the winding mountain path. Soon he arrived at the top of the mountain. The aura of life became denser and denser, and the surroundings were filled with mist. It looked peaceful and mysterious. There were many broken stones on the mountain peak, and in the center, there was a clear spring. The water rippled like nectar, and in the middle, there was a white snow lotus with 9 petals. The lotus seeds were sparkling and translucent, and it was filled with resplendent light. This is the snow lotus of creation. It is indeed a good item. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a tinge of surprise. The snow lotus of creation was an origin's sacred medicine. It contained the strength of life origin. It was almost lost in the realm of the gods. Ling Xiao did not expect to see the snow lotus of creation in the Martial Keep Mountain. The snow lotus of good fortune could be used to refine the elixir of good fortune, which was rumored to be able to extend the life of a saint. It was an extremely precious origin's sacred medicine. However, Ling Xiao didn't rush forward because there were many gigantic skeletons in the surroundings of the clear spring. They were all extremely terrifying demonic beasts, but for some reason, they had all died here. Master, was it done by the guardian demonic beast of the snow lotus of good fortune? The Thunder Spirit King was also slightly shocked, because even he couldn't sense the aura of the guardian beast. Ling Xiao also felt a looming danger. However, the location of the danger was very vague and he did not know where it came from. Therefore, Ling Xiao was very cautious and did not immediately go to pick the snow lotus of creation. Of course. Ling Xiao nodded. He even used the power of the wordless heavenly book to search for traces of the guardian monster. To be able to hide from Ling Xiao's perception, it was clear that the guardian demonic beast was extraordinary. Now that Ling Xiao was heavily injured, it was better to be cautious. Master, let me test it for you, Thunder Spirit King said. Then, a purple shadow flew out from Ling Xiao's mind and tried to grab the snow lotus in the air. Buzz. Just as the Thunder Spirit King was about to touch the snow lotus of good fortune, waves of ripples suddenly appeared around the snow lotus of good fortune. It formed a misty chaotic enchantment, blocking the Thunder Spirit King outside. Swoosh. At the same time, a faintly discernible shadow suddenly appeared behind Ling Xiao, emitting a terrifying wave of energy, and pounced on him. Go away! A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as if he had expected this. He roared and a powerful sound wave spread out, containing a trace of the power of time. That shadow suddenly trembled as if it was frozen in the void. Then, a purple lightning shot out from between Ling Xiao's eyebrows and hit the shadow directly. Gotcha! Thunder Spirit King controlled the power of Thunder Origin. Although he was greatly restricted in the Musashi Mountain, the power of this attack was still extremely controlled. It made the shadow twitch and reveal its original form immediately. It was a black bat. It looked very ugly and ferocious. The bat's wings emitted a strange wave which covered its whole body. It seemed to be faintly discernible as if it was one with the void. The bat emitted a mysterious sound wave from its mouth. It actually dispersed all the purple lightning around it. Then, it opened its bloody mouth and bit toward Ling Xiao. "Bastard, you're courting death!" the Thunder Spirit King shouted. His whole body seemed to have turned into a ball of purple lightning. The light was extremely bright, like a purple whirlpool. Instantly, it covered the black bat. The bat dashed left and right amidst the purple lightning. It issued a terrifying sound wave that made people's mind tremble. Its strength was incomparably terrifying. It was comparable to an ordinary high-level semi-sage expert. No wonder so many demon beasts had died here. Presumably, this black bat had sucked their flesh and blood dry. A blood-sucking bat? I didn't expect there to be such an ancient species in the Musashi Mountain. It must be the guardian demonic beast of the snow lotus of good fortune. Ling Xiao thought to himself. While Thunder Spirit King was in a deadlock with the black bat, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He reached out his hand to grab the snow lotus of good fortune. Ling Xiao's injuries were extremely serious. However, this snow lotus of good fortune contained the power of life origin. As long as he could swallow it, his injuries would be healed quickly. However, just as Ling Xiao was about to touch the snow lotus of good fortune, he suddenly felt an inexplicable sense of danger. Kacha! The snow lotus of good fortune suddenly emitted a bright light. Streaks of auspicious air surged and divine light rose. There were even divine chains of order which stretched out from it and tied Ling Xiao up in an instant. The snow lotus of good fortune turned crimson in an instant, as if it had been drenched in blood. It looked strange and terrifying, as if it had opened its bloody mouth and pulled Ling Xiao over, wanting to swallow Ling Xiao in one gulp. Oh no! This is not the snow lotus of good fortune. This is the blood demon lotus of good fortune? Ling Xiao's body shook. His eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. Chapter 1749. Blood-red petals bloomed and wrapped around Ling Xiao's body. Blood-red tentacles stretched out from the petals and began to devour the vitality in Ling Xiao's body. It turns out that the corpses of those demonic beasts weren't caused by the blood-sucking bats. They were caused by the blood demon lotus. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The more dangerous the situation was, the calmer he was. The blood demon lotus was also an origin sacred medicine. However, it was rumored to be a sacred object of the devil world. It could devour the flesh and blood of living creatures. Moreover, it was good at camouflage. It could disguise itself as various heavenly treasures. It was rumored that even a saint would find it difficult to discover its true form. Ling Xiao was even more shocked that there was a sacred object of the devil world in the Musashi Mountain. However, you want to devour me? You really don't know the meaning of death. Ling Xiao sneered in his heart. His eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. Rumble. The space between his eyebrows shone brightly. The power of the wordless heavenly book was instantly activated by Ling Xiao. An ancient and mysterious light gushed out and enveloped the blood demon lotus. Ling Xiao clearly felt that the blood demon lotus trembled violently after the wordless heavenly book's aura appeared. It emitted an incomparably terrifying fluctuation. Moreover, it emitted an extremely sharp sound wave. It was so terrifying that Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness shook involuntarily. His vision turned dark. If it weren't for the wordless heavenly book protecting his sea of consciousness would have exploded and his primordial spirit would have been shattered by the sound wave. The blood demon lotus was extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao felt that it had already given birth to a weak spiritual intelligence. It was like a child. Its true strength had reached the peak of the half-saint realm. It was extremely terrifying. However, it still couldn't escape the power of the wordless heavenly book. Buzz. The wordless heavenly book became extremely excited when it sensed the power of the blood demon lotus. It began to devour the power of the blood demon lotus wantonly. The blood demon lotus didn't seem to have the slightest resistance in front of the wordless heavenly book. Its only move was that incomparably terrifying sound wave divine ability. Unfortunately, it was useless against Ling Xiao and was easily neutralized. The wordless heavenly book didn't devour all the power of the blood demon lotus. Instead, it poured the purest life origin into Ling Xiao's body. Boom! Like rain after a long drought, the boundless life origin energy fused into Ling Zhao's body, flowing through his limbs and bones, rapidly healing his injuries. Ling Zhao's damaged body gradually recovered, and his qi and blood became stronger and stronger. In the end, his qi and blood surged like a great river, and his aura also began to recover. Streaks of resplendent light enveloped him, even stirring up a terrifying storm around Ling Zhao, attracting all the life energy in the air and fusing it into Ling Zhao's body. There can be no construction without destruction, only construction after destruction. I can make use of this opportunity to transcend the second nirvana tribulation. A hint of understanding appeared in Ling Zhao's heart. Ling Zhao's healed body exploded with a boom, turning into resplendent light. It was filled with a mysterious presence of chaos. Although Ling Zhao had just broken through to the first revolution half-saint realm, he had accumulated a lot of power. Previously, he had devoured the power of Zhou Tian's invisible sword array, which had greatly increased his strength. And this serious injury had given him an opportunity to make a breakthrough. Ling Zhao's mind was decisive. Since he had come out of the God of War's world, he had always been courageous and diligent. He had a tempered heart, so his cultivation had been able to advance by leaps and bounds. The blood demon lotus was also a sacred herb of origin. Although it didn't contain life origin energy like the snow lotus of good fortune, it still contained boundless life energy. A sacred herb of origin was extremely useful for a saint. Naturally, it wouldn't be a problem for Ling Zhao to use it to break through to the second revolution half-saint realm. Ling Zhao's body was radiating resplendent light, exuding a mysterious nirvana qi, but there was also a mysterious fluctuation of indestructibility. It wasn't difficult for Ling Zhao to transcend the nirvana tribulation. He had cultivated the indestructible holy technique. Not only was his body strong, but he could also control the tribulation energy. As long as his cultivation was sufficient, it would be much easier for him to break through compared to others. It was just that his body was too strong, and the nirvana tribulation was much more terrifying. The blood demon lotus was quickly devoured by the wordless heavenly book, but its boundless life origin was poured into Ling Zhao's body, helping him to quickly transcend the nirvana tribulation. After a round of battle, the Thunder Spirit King had also killed the vampire bat. When he saw Ling Zhao's current situation, he couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. He quickly set up a boundary to protect Ling Zhao's aura, so as to prevent other demonic beasts from being attracted. He began to guard Ling Zhao. Ling Zhao's body, primordial spirit, Godhead and small world were all shattered, turning into the most fundamental particles. There was a mysterious tribulation energy between them, undergoing the intertwining and tempering of the life and death energy. However, the indestructible seed of calamity was like a small purple sun, floating in the position of Ling Zhao's heart. It was mysterious and unfathomable, with a mysterious fluctuation of indestructibility. Rumble. The tribulation qi that filled the sky was quickly refined by Ling Zhao. Ling Zhao's nirvana tribulation was nearing its end. In the divine light that filled the sky, chaotic mist filled the air. A new physical body appeared in the void. It looked perfect and flawless, exuding a mysterious chaotic divine brilliance. I've finally broken through. I still have the great blood demon lotus. Otherwise, even if I could break through this time, my vitality would be greatly damaged. The breakthrough this time is still a little rushed. Ling Zhao heaved a sigh of relief, but there was a tinge of joy in his eyes. He had accumulated a lot of energy, so naturally, the energy he needed to break through was even more massive. If it wasn't for the great blood demon lotus, even if Ling Zhao could break through and rebuild, his vitality would be damaged. After all, his injuries this time were too severe, and the breakthrough was indeed a little rushed. However, now that Ling Zhao had broken through to the second revolution half-saint, he felt that his entire body had become more compatible with the Tao of heaven and earth. His entire body exuded a mysterious aura. More importantly, the injuries on his body had completely healed, and his entire body was filled with a strong sense of power. Congratulations, Master, for recovering from your injuries and making great progress in your cultivation. The Thunder Spirit King said joyfully. It's all thanks to your protection. It's time to meet up with Ji Feishuan and Anai Shang. If we can obtain the secret skill of life, we might be able to find the secret of the Marshall Keep Mountain. At that time, you can also become a saint. Let's go. Chapter 1750. The Musashi Mountain was majestic and connected the heavens and the earth. It was filled with chaotic mist. Small mountains rose and fell one after another. The ancient trees were lush and green. It looked ancient and peaceful. Ling Xiao concealed his aura with the heaven-shrouding secret technique and headed to the highest point of the Musashi Mountain. According to the information that Ji Feishuan told him, he had to undergo a test if he wanted to inherit the secret technique of life. There was a jade wall of life at the top of the Musashi Mountain. Only there could he comprehend the secret technique of life. Ji Feishuan, Anai Shang, and the others should have reached the top of the Musashi Mountain by now. Chirp. Just as Ling Xiao was about to leave, he suddenly heard a piercing sound from the clouds. It contained a majestic demonic aura and was extremely terrifying. At the same time, a powerful beast roar could be heard. A mountain in the distance shook violently. Rocks flew everywhere and the void shook. There was an intense battle going on. What a powerful demonic aura. I'm afraid it's a demonic beast at the peak of the half-saint realm. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself, Master, demonic beasts at the peak of the half-saint realm are extremely terrifying. We can't use the sky-flipping seal now. I'm afraid we're not their match. Let's leave this place quickly. The Thunder Spirit King advised. Let's go and take a look. I can feel a powerful life aura. It's even stronger than the myriad demonic blood lotus. I'm afraid there's some heavenly treasure. Let's go and take a look. Ling Xiao said slowly. Then, he carefully passed through the clouds and swept towards the mountain. Rumble! A snow-white tiger that was hundreds of feet tall appeared. Its fur was pure white and emitted a dazzling light. At this moment, it was upside down and was as sharp as a steel needle. It opened its bloody mouth and its eyes were filled with hatred. It suddenly pounced forward. Chirp! The sound of metal being pierced rang out as a cyan figure dodged. Suddenly, the earth trembled violently. A huge boulder weighing millions of jin exploded with a loud bang. It was crushed by the white tiger's claw. The cyan shadow appeared in midair. It was a cyan divine eagle. Its cyan wings were like swords, flowing with a brilliant light. Its claws shone with cold light. Its eyes were cold and arrogant as it stared at the white tiger below. Although the green figure did not look big, only a few dozen feet long, the white tiger felt as if it was facing a great enemy. Ling Xiao could clearly see that there were 3 deep wounds on the white tiger's back and abdomen. Blood was seeping out of the wounds, making it look extremely miserable. Get out of my territory! The white tiger spoke in human language, its eyes filled with hatred. Hand over the good fortune snow lotus or die. The cold voice of a woman came out of the green godly eagle's mouth. It was like the clanging of a sword, carrying an unquestionable fluctuation. The snow lotus of good fortune is my treasure. You don't even think about it. The white tiger roared, its voice shaking the heavens. The snow lotus of fate? When Ling Xiao heard the conversation between the white tiger and the green godly eagle, his body could not help but tremble. He immediately looked to the side of the white tiger. There was a spring that was about 1 zhang wide, flowing with a sparkling and translucent holy liquid. A snow-white lotus floated on top of it. It looked translucent as if it was carved out of flawless jade. It was very exquisite. The petals were sparkling and translucent, and the lotus seeds on top were as bright as the stars. Anyone who glanced at it would be reluctant to move their eyes away. A vast and majestic aura of life spread out, making people feel comfortable all over. Ling Xiao did not expect that he would really encounter the snow lotus of fate. The myriad transformations blood demon lotus that he encountered previously was disguised as the snow lotus of fate. Even Ling Xiao was fooled. Fortunately, he had the wordless heavenly book at the crucial moment and refined the myriad transformations blood demon lotus. In reality, the myriad transformations Blood Demon Lotus was more useful to the experts of the devil race. However, to Ling Xiao, it was far inferior to the Snow Lotus of Fate. If I can get the Snow Lotus of Fate and concoct the Eternal Creation Pill, I might be able to heal the injuries of the Void Pierce stage, Chong He and Lu Wenzheng, and restore them to the Saint Realm. When he thought of this, Ling Xiao's heart was burning with passion. His eyes that were looking at the Snow Lotus of Fate revealed a trace of blazing light. Master, these two demonic beasts are ancient species. Their strength is unparalleled. Moreover, their intelligence is not weaker than the human race. If you snatch the Snow Lotus of Fate from their mouths, they will definitely go berserk. The Thunder Spirit King said slowly. It's fine. With the heaven-shrouding secret technique, they won't be able to discover my chi. When both of them are injured, I'll be the fisherman. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he said indifferently. Rumble the white tiger and the green godly eagle were both hot-tempered. Soon, an intense battle broke out. However, these two demonic beasts obviously valued the Snow Lotus of Fate very much. Thus, when they were fighting, they carefully avoided the Snow Lotus of Fate. Roar the demonic aura around the white tiger rose. With a leap, it leaped over 1,000 feet. Its claws were extremely sharp, forming a few sharp blades in the void. It suddenly grabbed towards the green godly eagle. Although the green godly eagle was not as big as the white tiger, it was extremely agile. Moreover, it had extreme speed. A green shadow flashed past, causing the white tiger's attack to miss. The green godly eagle's beak was like a sharp sword. It shot out a ray of green light and instantly left a bloody mark on the white tiger's body. The white tiger's eyes became even redder. It was so angry that it roared. The wounds on its body made it even more ferocious. Then, the blood in its body rose. In an instant, the snow-white fur on its body shot out like steel needles towards the green godly eagle. Swoosh 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 those strands of fur were like extremely sharp swords that could pierce through everything. They covered the sky as they shot towards the green godly eagle. Although the green godly eagle had extreme speed and dodged most of the snow-white light, it was still hit by some of them. There was a sound of metal clashing. Its wings trembled. In the end, a few of the green feathers dimmed and fell off. Boom! The white tiger seemed to be very cunning. When the green godly eagle was enveloped by the snow-white light, it took the opportunity to soar into the sky. It directly slapped down on the green godly eagle's body. The green godly eagle's body emitted a green light. It was like a mysterious barrier. However, it was still shattered by the white tiger. In the end, its body trembled as it flew out. Roar. The white tiger let out a terrifying roar. It was like a huge tsunami. The sound waves spread out and enveloped the green godly eagle. At the same time, it opened its bloody mouth and wanted to swallow the green godly eagle. Buzz star. Chapter 1751. The white tiger was shocked. It did not expect the green godly eagle to be able to unleash such a powerful attack. It retreated quickly, and at the same time, spat out a white ball of light. Boom! The ball of light exploded. The azure sword light was extremely sharp. It cut through the air and cut off all the fur on the white tiger's neck, leaving behind a deep gash. It had almost chopped off the white tiger's head. I'm going to kill you. The white tiger was exasperated. Its eyes were bloodshot and filled with hatred and killing intent. It charged towards the green godly eagle again. However, the godly cyan eagle was extremely fast and its attacks were extremely fierce. In front of the godly cyan eagle, the white tiger seemed a little clumsy. More and more wounds appeared on its body, but it was unable to touch the godly cyan eagle at all. It roared in anger, but there was nothing it could do. The wounds on the white tiger's body increased, and its breath became weaker. Master, it looks like the white tiger is going to lose. Should we attack? Thunder Spirit King said. Ling Xiao was about to say something, but his eyes suddenly flashed. It looks like we're not the only ones who want to be the fishermen. There are many people who want to get the melting snow lotus. Ling Xiao could feel that there were a few extremely obscure auras approaching from a distance. It was difficult to detect them, as if they were using some kind of artifact to conceal their auras. They had stopped in a different direction and were actually planning to reap the benefits of the battle. There were 5 young geniuses. Each of them had a powerful cultivation. Ling Xiao was even familiar with 2 of them. They were the disciples of the Blood Origin Elixir Saint, young Master Yunyang and Prince 19, Jichen. Senior brother Yunyang, is that the snow lotus of creation? Jichen's eyes lit up and said with surprise. Yes, it is the snow lotus of creation, the legendary Origin's sacred herb. However, the strength of the 2 demonic beasts is terrifying. I'm afraid we can't handle them. Young Master Yunyang's eyes were blazing as he spoke slowly. However, the strength of the 2 demonic beasts is similar. When they are both injured, we can snatch the snow lotus of creation. They won't be able to catch up with us. Jichen said confidently. You're right. We must get the snow lotus of creation. However, to ensure that nothing goes wrong, when the 2 demonic beasts are both injured, please lead them away. We can snatch the snow lotus of creation. Young Master Yunyang said slowly. Uncle Black was the skinny 6th Revolution half-saint behind him. He was also the most powerful one among the 5. He had been injured by Gao Yang before. Now, not only was his aura strong, but he even showed signs of breaking through to the 7th Revolution half-saint. Young Master, don't worry. Leave it to me. The skinny old man said slowly as a cold glint flashed across his eyes. The world shook as the battle between the White Tiger and the Azure Godly Eagle grew more and more intense. However, the White Tiger was already at a complete disadvantage. Its aura was growing weaker and weaker. Even the speed at which it attacked had slowed down. Ching. The White Tiger roared, and a terrifying sound wave exploded. Its eyes were filled with both shock and anger. It felt a fatal danger from the Azure Godly Eagle's sword. The White Tiger tried to dodge. Demon Chi rose around its body and superimposed a powerful defensive barrier. However, it was annihilated by the Green Godly Eagle's sword. The Green Godly Eagle's sword pierced through the White Tiger's chest. Blood spread out. The White Tiger's aura weakened rapidly. Even its vitality began to fade. The White Tiger's huge body smashed into the mountain. Suddenly, the mountain shook violently. The White Tiger's eyes began to dim. Master, it seems like the White Tiger is going to die in the Green Godly Eagle's hands. Are we still not going to make a move? Thunder Spirit King said. The Green Godly Eagle was an ancient variant Green Godly Eagle. Its strength was unparalleled. Even the White Tiger was killed by it. Not necessarily. Let's wait. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. Even Thunder Spirit King felt that the White Tiger was going to die. However, after Ling Xiao practiced the incomplete secret technique of destiny, his divine sense was very strong. He felt that there was a terrifying power brewing inside the White Tiger's body. It was like a volcano that was about to erupt. The Green Godly Eagle was going to suffer a great loss. Sure enough, Ling Xiao saw the Green Godly Eagle rushing towards the White Tiger. The eagle's beak emitted a cold light. It directly pecked at the White Tiger's chest. Because there was the White Tiger's demon Dan, it emitted a blazing light. It was as bright as a small sun. As long as the Green Godly Eagle swallowed the White Tiger's demon Dan, its strength would increase greatly. However, when the Green Godly Eagle got close to the White Tiger, the White Tiger's body suddenly emitted a terrifying killing intent. The Green Godly Eagle's body stiffened. It felt a fatal crisis. It immediately wanted to flap its wings and fly away. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The White Tiger's terrifying chi and blood rose up at this moment. In a flash, it transformed into a bloody chain. It directly wrapped around the Green Godly Eagle. It was as thick as a horned dragon. It was incomparably sturdy. The White Tiger's eyes emitted a trace of cold killing intent. Its bloody mouth suddenly opened and emitted a terrifying tiger roar that shook the heavens and earth. A huge sound wave bullet, which looked crystal clear but contained an incomparably violent power, exploded with a loud bang. It directly exploded on the green godly eagle's body. Rumble! That terrifying sound wave exploded. Immediately, the surrounding mountain rocks were turned into fine powder. A few towering ancient trees rumbled and exploded. This area was enveloped by a bright divine light. The green godly eagle's incomparably miserable voice came from within. What? Young Master Yunyang and Jichen were both taken aback, their eyes filled with fear. They were just preparing to snatch the good fortune snow lotus, but they didn't expect the white tiger to be so sinister. It purposely used a serious injury to lure the green godly eagle, and then exploded with such a terrifying attack. That kind of power made their scalps go numb. If they were affected, even if they had powerful protective treasures, if they didn't die, they would still be seriously injured. Both sides are injured. This is a good opportunity. Quickly snatch the good fortune snow lotus. Young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen's eyes lit up. The two of them instantly rushed towards the good fortune snow lotus. Chapter 1752. The snow lotus of good fortune had disappeared from the spring. The snow lotus of good fortune was still swaying in the spring, but it disappeared in the blink of an eye. Even Yunyang and Jichen didn't know how it disappeared. Who is it? Who stole the snow lotus of good fortune? Young Master Yunyang's and Jichen's eyes turned blood red in an instant as they growled, their voices filled with monstrous rage. The two of them were not stupid. They had already guessed that there were other people hiding in the surroundings. Taking advantage of the time when the white tiger and the green-scaled eagle were both injured, they quietly stole the good fortune snow lotus, even hiding from everyone's perception. Rumble! A resplendent divine light blossomed, and within that terrifying sound wave, the shadow of the green-scaled eagle appeared. At this moment, the green-scaled eagle was incomparably miserable. Its entire body was covered with cyan feathers, and its body was covered with bloody scars. Its breath had also become extremely weak. Although the white tiger had tricked the green-scaled eagle, it had also paid a huge price. Its body was badly mutilated, and it was severely injured. One of its front claws was even broken. Both sides were injured. The white tiger and the green-scaled eagle were both completely injured. However, they both sensed that the snow lotus of good fortune had disappeared, and they also saw young Master Yunyang and Jichen's figures. Despicable humans, hand over the snow lotus of good fortune. This king will tear you into pieces. The white tiger's eyes became incomparably blood red, and a terrifying aura filled the air. It locked onto young Master Yunyang and Jichen's group of 5. In an instant, it roared and directly pounced on them. You all deserve to die. The green-scaled eagle also had a burning killing intent in its eyes. Even though it hated the white tiger, the snow lotus of good fortune was even more important in its heart. Today, it was used by a few despicable humans, and even stole the snow lotus of good fortune. This immediately made it go crazy. The two great demonic beasts rushed over at the same time. Although they were both seriously injured, their ferocious aura caused young Master Yunyang and Jichen's faces to change greatly. Your Excellency, please listen to us. The snow lotus of good fortune wasn't stolen by us. Someone had already stolen it before we came. Young Master Yunyang and Jichen were so depressed that they were about to vomit blood. They quickly retreated while they hurriedly explained. Despicable human, you still want to deceive me at this time? You are courting death. How could the white tiger believe their words? After all, it hadn't sensed anyone else's aura at all. After the good fortune snow lotus disappeared, young Master Yunyang, Jichen, and the other 4 appeared. The white tiger was certain that the good fortune snow lotus had been stolen by them. Leave quickly, young master. I'll stop them. Uncle Black's eyes were filled with seriousness. His whole body was filled with holy aura. A black long sword appeared in his palm, and in an instant he blocked the white tiger and the green-scaled eagle. I'm so angry. If I find out who stole the snow lotus of good fortune, I'll tear you into pieces and make sure you'll never be reincarnated. Young Master Yunyang was so angry that his whole body was trembling. His eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. How unkind! Stealing the good fortune snow lotus was one thing, but the key point was that young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen had to take the blame for him. Young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen both felt that they were extremely unlucky. But why would the white tiger and green-scaled eagle listen to their explanations? A fierce battle broke out in an instant. At this moment, the culprit had already quietly left the mountain peak and was heading towards the top of Mount Musashi. Master, you're too evil. This time, I'm afraid Yunyang and Ji Chen will vomit blood from anger. Thunder Spirit King chuckled. I also didn't think that it would be them. Whether or not these two bastards can escape from the hands of the white tiger and green-scaled eagle will depend on their luck. Ling Xiao touched his nose and said innocently. When the white tiger tricked the green-scaled eagle, Ling Xiao very decisively made his move. His heaven-shrouding secret technique was very mysterious. In addition to the terrifying shockwave caused by the white tiger's sonic bomb explosion, no one noticed how the snow lotus of good fortune disappeared. Ling Xiao took the snow lotus of good fortune and left. Only when young Master Yunyang and Ji Chen appeared did Ling Xiao notice these two old acquaintances. What happened next could be imagined. Not only did Yunyang and Ji Chen lose everything, they didn't get the snow lotus of good fortune. Instead, they had to take the blame for Ling Xiao. Regarding this, Ling Xiao didn't have any psychological burden at all. In the wordless heavenly book, the snow lotus of good fortune was sparkling and translucent. It was untainted by even a speck of dust. It emitted a majestic aura of life and a mysterious aura. It was incomparably mysterious. After obtaining the snow lotus of good fortune, Ling Xiao's heart was relieved. As long as he could refine it into the regeneration pill, it would definitely be of help to his 3 senior brothers' injuries. If his 3 senior brothers' injuries were healed and they could recover their saint path cultivation, the strength of Battle Hall would greatly increase. At that time, Battle Hall's right to speak in Battle God Temple would also increase by a lot. Along the way, Ling Xiao felt a lot of powerful auras. They were at least half-step saints. They all appeared in the hidden Martial Mountain. Some people were searching for something, and some people were fighting for all kinds of heaven and earth treasures. Isn't that Long Outyin seriously injured? Where is he hiding? We've searched for so long, but we still haven't found him. Who knows? Maybe he has already been rescued by Ji Feishuan, Enai Shang, and the others. Enai Shang Fairy's strength is unparalleled. She's not someone we can deal with. Perhaps only Ji Tian, Lu Yun, and Wang Dao, the 3 holy sons, can deal with her. Sigh, it seems that this secret technique of life is not fated to be with us. That's not necessarily true. Let's hurry to the Jade Wall of Life. As long as we can get a place there, we have hope of comprehending the secret technique of life. As for Long Outyin, it's fine if we can't find him. After all, he's the master of Battle Hall. It's inevitable that Battle God Temple will be angry if we offend him. Everyone's discussion entered Ling Xiao's ears. Master, I didn't expect that Ji Chufeng to be so deranged. He dares to issue a bounty and doesn't hesitate to use the secret technique of life as a reward to get everyone to capture you. Thunder Spirit King said slowly. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. Ji Chufeng, he's really courting death. After we help Ji Feishuan obtain the complete secret technique of life, we'll think of a way to seize control of the Zhou Tian sword and de Zhou Tian's invisible sword array from Ji Chufeng. Then we'll kill him. Master is right. That Ji Chufeng is relying on the power of the Zhou Tian sword and de Zhou Tian's invisible sword array. Without these two, he's like a tiger without its teeth. He'll definitely die. Thunder Spirit King sneered. Let's go. Ignore these people. I have a feeling that Ji Feishuan, Enai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang will be in danger. There will definitely be a fierce battle at the Jade Wall of Life. Chapter 1753. At the peak of the Martial Mountain. Primal chaos mist pervaded the surroundings. Tens of thousands of rays of multicolored light and thousands of rays of auspicious light emanated from it. It emitted a majestic aura of vitality. Everyone felt comfortable all over, and even their life essence became a little richer. There was a snow-white jade wall at the peak of the mountain. It was hundreds of feet tall and looked crystal clear. It was enshrouded in a faint primal chaos aura. It was ancient and mysterious, as though it contained a vast world. This was the Jade Wall of Life, the most mysterious existence in the entire Martial Mountain. No one knew the origin of the Jade Wall of Life. It was only vaguely recorded that the Jade Wall of Life was related to the Life Empress and contained the Life Secret Technique. If one could obtain the Life Secret Technique, they would be able to understand the mystery of life and death and obtain a powerful life force. In front of the Jade Wall of Life, there were 36 stone futons in the shape of Zhou Tian. They formed a mysterious connection with the Jade Wall of Life. If one wanted to comprehend the life secret technique in the Jade Wall of Life, they had to sit on the stone futons. At this moment, Ji Feishuan, Anai Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong were sitting on the 4 stone futons at the front. The Jade Wall of Life hasn't been fully activated yet. It will only be activated when the 36 stone futons have an owner. I hope Long Outyin can come as soon as possible. Ji Feishuan had a trace of worry in her eyes. Although she was confident in Ling Xiao, she knew how powerful the Zhou Tian sword and de Zhou Tian's formless sword array were in Ji Chufeng's hands. That kind of power wasn't weaker than a saint and could even kill a saint. Junior sister Ji, don't worry. Martial Granduncle Long will definitely be fine. Anai Shang comforted, but she was also worried in her heart. That old man Ji Chufeng is simply courting death. He actually dares to go against Martial Granduncle Long? When we report back to the sect, we'll directly destroy the great Zhou divine nation. Gao Yang said indignantly. Cough cough. Junior brother Gao, there's no need to destroy the great Zhou divine nation. Just kill Ji Chufeng. When junior sister Ji inherits the throne, the great Zhou divine nation will become our war god temple's territory. Wu Xiong coughed lightly. Senior brother Wu is right. Pa. Junior sister Ji, don't mind him. Just kill Ji Chufeng. Gao Yang was taken aback. He knew that he had said something wrong and immediately laughed. You want to kill my father with just the likes of you? Ji Feishuan, hand over the life source beast and I can spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. At this moment, a cold voice resounded in the void. Bush, 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 bush. Ji Tian, the blood origin pill saint, Lu Yun, and Wang Dao flew to the top of the Mount Martial treasury. Their eyes were cold as they stared at Ji Feishuan and Ai Shang, and the other two without concealing the killing intent in their eyes. Ji Tian? You guys came pretty quickly, but with just you? A cold glint flashed across Anai Shang's eyes as she said plainly. Saintess Anai Shang, my 9 imperial obelisk is on good terms with the War God Temple. I don't wish to affect the relationship between our 2 sections. Ji Feishuan is a member of my Ji clan and this is an internal matter of our great Zhou divine nation. I hope you won't interfere. Ji Tian stared at Anai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang as he spoke coldly. Internal affairs? I don't think so, right? Junior sister Ji isn't just a member of your Ji clan. She's also a disciple of the War God Temple. Moreover, since you know that the 9 imperial obelisk is on good terms with the War God Temple, you still dared to attack Martial Granduncle Long and even collude with Lu Yun and Wang Dao? Anai Shang sneered with a trace of mockery in her eyes. Saintess Anai Shang, I advise you not to refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Only death awaits you if you go against me. Do you really think that I don't dare to kill you? A cold glint flashed across Ji Tian's eyes. Bush, bush, bush. More than a dozen powerful silhouettes rushed up the hidden Martial Mountain. They stood behind Ji Tian, Lu Yun, and Wang Dao. These silhouettes had powerful auras. All of them had the cultivation of semi-sage realm. Their auras were biting cold, and their gazes were incomparably cold. Moreover, as time passed, more and more people flew to the top of the Mount Martial treasury. They looked at Ji Feishuan, and Ai Shang, and the rest with hostility. Of course you dare. Why wouldn't you dare? You even dared to attack Martial Granduncle Long, let alone us. However, as long as we're here today, no one can touch a hair on junior sister Ji. Enai Shang sneered with a sharp gaze as she spoke resolutely. Although Wu Xiong and Gao Yang did not speak, they protected Ji Feishuan in the middle with eyes filled with powerful battle intent. Brother Ji, there's no need to talk nonsense with them. Just attack and kill them all. I'd like to see how they're going to protect Ji Feishuan. Lu Yun and Wang Dao also sneered. The two of them looked at each other and saw the killing intent in each other's eyes. Enai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang were the three saints and saintesses of the War God Temple. They were also the future hope of the War God Temple. If they were all killed here, the War God Temple would be greatly weakened. At that time, if they could instigate the 9 Imperial Obelisk, the War God Temple would be greatly weakened. Jitian, I'll stop Enai Shang for you. Let Lu Yun and Wang Dao stop Wu Xiong and Gao Yang. You quickly capture Ji Feishuan and snatch the Life Source Beast. As long as you obtain the Life Source Beast, you'll definitely be able to obtain the complete life secret skill. Moreover, I'm guessing that the treasure left behind by the Divine Illumination Crown Prince is also with Ji Feishuan. The Blood Origin Pill Saint's eyes flashed as he transmitted his voice to Ji Tian. Alright, Uncle, don't worry. With Ji Feishuan's weak cultivation, she'll definitely die. Ji Tian's eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. Ji Feishuan, if you still admit that you're a disciple of the Ji clan, then hand over the Life Source Beast and plead guilty. Otherwise, don't blame me for cleaning up the clan today. Ji Tian lifted his head and stared at Ji Feishuan as he spoke indifferently. Cleaning up the clan? Both father and son are indeed sanctimonious and equally despicable. Let's see who's the one cleaning up the clan today. Ji Feishuan laughed mockingly, but her gaze became increasingly deep and serene. The Life Source Beast lay on her shoulder and exuded a dense and majestic life aura. It enveloped Ji Feishuan in a faint layer of holy light, making her look mysterious and ethereal. For some reason, Ji Tian had a bad feeling in his heart. However, he still shouted coldly and took the lead to pounce on Ji Feishuan. Rumble! A powerful Saint Dao aura exploded as the Blood Origin Pill Saint, Lu Yun, and Wang Dao instantly charged toward Enai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang to stop them from continuing to protect Ji Feishuan. Get lost. Enai Shang's eyes were extremely cold. Her white robe fluttered as if she was a fairy from the 9 heavens. She slammed her palm toward the Blood Origin Pill Saint at an extremely fast speed and arrived before him in the blink of an eye. Chapter 1754. The Blood Origin Pill Saint was shocked and exclaimed, "The art of aging heavens and earth?" He did not expect Enai Shang to have cultivated the art of aging heavens and earth to such a level. Her attacks contained the power of time. Although the Blood Origin Pill Saint was 1 realm higher than Enai Shang, he was still wary of her at this moment. Blood Spirit Saint Technique. The Blood Origin Pill Saint was on high alert. His saint aura filled the air and rays of blood-red light spread out as if forming a vast sea of blood. He struck out with both of his palms and set off a huge blood-red wave that collided with Enai Shang. Blood-red lightning bloomed. Enai Shang's figure was ethereal. She wanted to go around the Blood Origin Pill Saint and save Ji Feishuan. However, the Blood Origin Pill Saint had already predicted Ji Feishuan's actions. Blood-red chains rushed out from the sea of blood and instantly wrapped around Enai Shang's body. After seeing Enai Shang perform the art of aging heavens and earth, the Blood Origin Pill Saint knew that it would be difficult for him to take her down. Therefore, he only hoped that he could block Enai Shang and prevent her from saving Ji Feishuan. That was enough. On the other side, Wu Xiong and Gao Yang were also blocked by Lu Yun and Wang Dao. After all, Lu Yun and Wang Dao were both 8th Revolution half-saints, which was 1 realm higher than them. Although the two of them had begun to fight with their lives on the line and the battle was very intense, they were still unable to break through Lu Yun and Wang Dao's defense. For a moment, Enai Shang, Gao Yang, and Wu Xiong were all entangled. Meanwhile, Ji Tian's eyes revealed a trace of malevolence as he grabbed the Life Source Beast on Ji Feishuan's shoulder. Ji Feishuan's expression was very calm as if there was not a trace of worry. When Ji Tian was about to grab the Life Source Beast, The life source beast let out a sharp howl. In an instant, the void trembled and chaos rolled. The life source beast was like a wave of water as it instantly turned into a ray of light and merged into Ji Feishuan's body. Mother, White Yi's power is for you. Kill this bad guy. The life source beast's crisp voice rang out, and Ji Feishuan's aura began to skyrocket. Rumble. Ji Feishuan originally only had the cultivation of a first revolution half-saint. However, after the life source beast merged with her body, her aura began to soar from second revolution half-saint to third revolution half-saint all the way to seventh revolution half-saint. Only then did it slowly stop. Ji Feishuan stood in the air with an extremely mysterious aura around her. There seemed to be a seven-colored divine radiance flickering in her eyes, causing her to be filled with exuberant vitality as if she had grasped the origin of life. With a smile, 100 flowers bloom. Ji Feishuan's ethereal voice reverberated between heaven and earth as if there was a mysterious resonance with the entire mountain. She lightly slammed her palm towards Jiteng. Rumble. In an instant, there seemed to be flowers blooming around Ji Feishuan. The dazzling radiance illuminated the surroundings as the petals flew towards Ji Tian. Heaven and earth had become a sea of flowers. Not good. Ji Sky's expression changed greatly, and his figure retreated rapidly. The sea of flowers in front of him contained a power that made his scalp tingle. The power of the blooming flowers gathered together, and like an invisible wave, it pushed towards Ji Sky. Lightning Emperor technique, kill. 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 Ji Tian roared as his eyes were filled with ice-cold killing intent. The purple divine radiance around him was dazzling as bolts of lightning converged and formed an incomparably mysterious Lightning Emperor true body behind him. Then, a huge purple palm struck out and collided with the sea of flowers. Rumble. The void shook violently as the primal chaos mist exploded. Dazzling divine radiance enveloped the entire sky above the martial hidden mountain. The mysterious sea of flowers shattered, but the Lightning Emperor true body behind Ji Tian also shook violently, causing Ji Tian's eyes to be filled with incomparable horror. When Ji Tian unleashed the power of the Lightning Emperor's true body, he could even fight against a ninth revolution half-saint. However, he was unexpectedly repelled by Ji Feishuan, who was only a seventh revolution half-saint. Even his Lightning Emperor's true body suffered considerable damage. Fury. Colsey. An indistinct voice came out from Ji Feishuan's mouth again. The center of her brows shone brightly as if a mysterious figure was chanting. Her voice contained a sigh of vicissitudes and vicissitudes of life that penetrated through the long river of time. Rumble. The sea of flowers that filled the sky exploded, converged in the void, and actually turned into an incomparably vast sea of enormous waves. Wrapped in a vast vitality, it surged violently and pressed down towards Ji Tian. That vital energy seemed to want to assimilate everything into the most quintessential energy of life, and it contained the vastness and majesty of life. Break for me! Ji Tian roared furiously as he poured all the saint energy in his body into the Lightning Emperor true body, causing the Lightning Emperor true body to emit a boundless radiance. Dazzling bolts of lightning that were as thick as mountains rushed towards the sea of waves. The figure of the Thunder Emperor's true body was submerged by the sea. Terrifying divine light blossomed. This was a kind of vast power of heaven and earth that wanted to wash everything away and make all living things return to the beginning of life. Even the Thunder Emperor's true body seemed to be unable to withstand this kind of power. In the end, it returned to nothingness at the same time as the vast sea, shattering apart. Ji Tian could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. He also suffered a huge backlash when the Lightning Emperor true body was destroyed, causing his aura to weaken. You're not Ji Feishuan. Who are you? Ji Tian's voice trembled. The Ji Feishuan in front of him looked extremely unfamiliar. Her temperament was extraordinary, and there was a sense of vicissitudes and heaviness that came from countless years of vicissitudes. Moreover, the aura on Ji Feishuan's body was getting stronger and stronger, like the rising sun, emitting a dazzling radiance. Cry. Heaven and earth shake. A third mysterious voice came out of Ji Fei Xian's mouth. In an instant, heaven and earth shook, and chaos filled the air. A vast force of heaven and earth pressed down on Ji Tian. A chilly wind howled as if the heavens were angry and wanted to turn Ji Tian into dust. When the third voice came out, Ji Fei Xian seemed to be unable to withstand this force. Her body trembled slightly, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Even her body was trembling slightly. So what if you borrowed the power of a life source beast? Ji Fei Xian, only I deserve to have a life source beast. You don't deserve it. You should have died 1,000,000 years ago. Go to hell. Ji Tian roared furiously, his eyes filled with monstrous killing intent. Chapter 1755. Ji Tian could see that the reason Ji Feishuan was able to display such terrifying combat strength was not because of her own strength, but because the life source beast had merged with her body. However, that kind of power was incomparably terrifying. It was as if all living things would be annihilated, heaven and earth would shatter, and all living things would be turned into dust. Ji Tian had no choice but to risk his life and use a forbidden technique. Ji Tian's fist imprint was incomparably vast and contained the lightning Dao origin energy. A terrifying figure faintly appeared behind him as if it wanted to break the shackles of heaven and earth. Kacha! The vast momentum of the world shook violently, and then shattered in an instant. A blazing divine light bloomed, dyeing the entire Mount Musashi in a purple-gold color. Ji Tian and Ji Feishuan's bodies shook at the same time and were sent flying. Everyone couldn't help but be shocked. Ji Tian was an 8th revolution half-saint. He was extremely talented and powerful, and he could even fight a 9th revolution half-saint. However, Ji Feishuan was only a 1st revolution half-saint, and it was because she had merged with the life source beast that she could display such powerful combat strength. Now, it seemed that both Ji Tian and Ji Feishuan had suffered great losses. I must obtain the life source beast. If I can merge with its power, I can even possess the combat strength of a saint. At that time, I will have a place in the heavenly selection convention. Ji Tian spat out a mouthful of blood, but his eyes were blazing. Ji Feishuan's face was incomparably pale, and the aura around her body became incomparably weak. The life source beast flashed and reappeared on her shoulder. Mother, this big bad guy is too powerful. Whitey is no match for him. Quickly ask father to come and beat him to death. Whitey said dejectedly. Her voice was childish, and she glared with her big clear eyes. She was very angry. Father. Ji Feishuan didn't react for a moment. It's father. Father cut me out of the stone. Father can definitely beat this big bad guy to death. Whitey said, her eyes full of worship. Don't talk nonsense. That's not your father. Ji Feishuan's pretty face was instantly covered with a layer of red as she glared at Whitey. Then who's my father? Whitey asked innocently with her big eyes. Ji Feishuan felt a headache coming on as this was a difficult question to answer. Little guy, I'm your daddy. Come into daddy's arms. Ji Tian's eyes suddenly flashed as he looked at Whitey in a fawning manner. At the same time, he took out a pill and swallowed it to suppress the injuries in his body. His powerful aura began to gradually recover and press towards Ji Feishuan. It seemed that this life source beast was very easy to trick. It would be best if he could trick it into joining him. Ji Sky even took out a divine spirit grass that contained boundless vitality. It could be considered a powerful divine medicine, and he wanted to use it to lure the life source beast. Ba, you are not my father. My father will beat you to death. Little White said with widened eyes. Ji Tian's eyes turned cold as he said coldly, looks like you're refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Ji Feishuan, let's see if you can still borrow the power of a life source beast. Rumble. Lightning bloomed around Ji Tian's body as he shot towards Ji Feishuan like a bolt of purple lightning. He reached out his hand to grab the life source beast. He could feel that Ji Feishuan's aura was very weak at the moment, and the life source beast's vitality was also greatly damaged. Although he was also severely injured, he forcefully suppressed his injuries and erupted with powerful combat strength. It was not something that Ji Feishuan could contend against. "Junior sister Ji, be careful," Enai Shang shouted anxiously. However, she was firmly entangled by the blood origin pill saint and could not go to Ji Feishuan's rescue. She could only remind her loudly. A faint light bloomed between Ji Feishuan's eyebrows. It was mysterious and unfathomable, and one could vaguely see a mysterious figure that seemed to be waking up from a deep sleep. Boom! All of a sudden, a resplendent golden light rose from the distance. It was like a rising sun, radiating a myriad of rays of light. It was an unparalleled fist imprint with a powerful aura that seemed to be able to shatter stars and split heaven and earth. It enveloped Ji Tian and contained a great destructive wave. "Ji Tian, what kind of ability is it to bully a girl with your cultivation? Fight me if you have the ability." A clear and bright voice exploded in the void, rumbling like thunder. "Long Out Yen, you're courting death." Ji Tian's body trembled. He immediately saw a figure coming out of the golden divine light. Who else could it be but Ling Xiao? Ji Tian's eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. His body trembled as he gave up on attacking Ji Feishuan. Instead, he threw a punch at Ling Xiao. "It's Senior Uncle Long?" Enai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang's eyes lit up, revealing a trace of surprise. "Long Outyen? The flipping sky seal can't be used in the martial treasury mountain. With his ant-like cultivation, he wants to save Ji Feishuan? He's overestimating himself." The blood origin pill saint sneered with disdain in his eyes. However, before he could finish his words, his face suddenly changed and his entire body froze. Rumble! Boom! A terrifying fist print exploded as Ji Tian and Ling Xiao collided. Like a volcanic eruption, dazzling divine light shot out and caused the void to shake violently. Ling Xiao's unparalleled fist imprint contained an invincible aura that could suppress everything. Only a loud cracking sound could be heard. Ji Sky's arm shook violently and actually broke apart all of a sudden. Ji Tian flew out in an instant as he spat out blood. His eyes were filled with disbelief. "How can you be so strong?" Ji Tian's body trembled violently as he smashed into the mountain wall in the distance, creating a human-shaped hole. The earth shook and the void rumbled. Even though he'd suffered a heavy injury during the battle with Ji Feishuan, he'd suppressed his injuries and still retained a combat strength comparable to a high-level half-saint. However, he'd been defeated so miserably by a single punch from Ling Xiao. "Jin, even without the flipping sky seal, what can you do to me?" Ling Xiao stepped out of the dazzling divine light. His eyes were sharp and his aura was monstrous. Moreover, he was filled with chaotic light, giving him an immortal aura. Chapter 1756. Ling Xiao had been relying on the power of the flipping sky seal, so no one thought that he was strong. Now that Ling Xiao had made a move, everyone was shocked. This kid is growing too fast. How can his body be so strong? Lu Yun and Wang Dao were shocked, and their eyes were filled with horror. They still remembered that Ling Xiao was only in the Divine King realm in the Void Saint world. In their eyes, he was like an ant that they could kill with a flip of their hand. If it were not for the power of the White Jade Dragon Elephant, Ling Xiao would not be their match. But how long had it been? Ling Xiao already had the combat strength to threaten them. Previously, when Ling Xiao used the flipping sky seal, they didn't care because it was only the power of the holy treasure. It was an external force, not Ling Xiao's own combat strength. They didn't pay attention to it. But now Lu Yun and Wang Dao were really shocked. Indestructible divine technique? He has already condensed the leakless real body? This kid must not be left alive. Blood Origin Elixir Saint's eyes flashed with a trace of burning killing intent. Ling Xiao stood in the air, golden light shining all over his body. Purple chi rose, and there seemed to be a purple sun floating in the chaos behind him. He devoured the energy of the heavens and the earth, but locked all of the energy, not letting a single bit leak out. Ling Xiao was like a black hole, devouring everything. This was the vision of the leakless real body. Fortunately, we did not go to capture Long Outyin. Otherwise, we would have died in his hands. Everyone felt extremely lucky. Otherwise, with their cultivation, they would be courting death. Long Outyen, you deserve to die. Ji Tian's eyes were blood red, and his body was filled with monstrous killing intent. He stared at Ling Xiao, as if he had been humiliated. He was the holy son of the imperial obelisk, the crown prince of the great Zhou divine kingdom. He was extremely talented and powerful. He was an 8th revolution half-saint, but he was defeated by Ling Xiao, who was only a 2nd revolution half-saint. This was a great humiliation. He must kill Ling Xiao. At this moment, Ji Tian no longer cared about his identity as the master of Ling Xiao Battle Hall. He also did not care about the consequences of killing Ling Xiao. His hatred for Ling Xiao had reached its peak. You, Ling Xiao said indifferently. Everyone could feel the disdain in his words. If Ji Feishuan and I were not severely injured, I would have killed you like a dog. Everyone, follow me to capture Long Outyen. I will give you the secret technique of life. Ji Sky's voice was incomparably cold as he cupped his hands and bowed to everyone. Everyone's eyes could not help but lit up. Many of them came to the hidden Martial Mountains to try their luck. They might not necessarily have the opportunity to obtain the life secret technique. If Ji Sky could teach them the life secret technique, then they would have profited greatly. After all, although Ling Zhao's combat strength seemed to be very strong, his real cultivation was only at the 2nd revolution half-saint. With so many people attacking at the same time, even if Ling Zhao's combat strength was very strong, he would not be able to withstand it. A purple divine light bloomed. In an instant, it was as if the Milky Way had separated Ling Xiao from everyone else. It contained an aura of great destruction. Those who dare to cross this line will be killed without mercy. His gaze was very calm, as if it was a deep and resplendent void. He swept his gaze over everyone, causing their hearts to involuntarily tremble. Although the secret technique of life was very attractive to them, what was the use of the secret technique of life if they lost their lives? Long Outyen, prepare to die. Ji Tian's eyes blazed with murderous intent. A purple saber appeared in his palm. The saber radiated a sharp light that was suffused with purple lightning. It soared through the sky and attacked Ling Xiao. The black-robed experts behind Ji Tian were all from the great Zhou divine nation. They naturally would not disobey Ji Tian's order. They followed Ji Tian and charged towards Ling Xiao. Everyone, let's capture Long Outyen together. In the end, some people could not help it. After all, the temptation of the secret technique of life was too strong. Some of them relied on their cultivation to attack. Rumble. The heavens and earth trembled. In an instant, hundreds of experts charged towards Ling Xiao. They were all experts at the peak of the half-saint realm. Each of them was extremely powerful. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. Senior Uncle Long, be careful. Enai Shang and the other two's faces changed. Although Ling Zhao's combat power was very strong, he was probably in danger with so many people attacking at the same time. Ling Zhao's expression was still as calm as ever. Buzz. There was a flash of light in his palm, and a long sword with golden light flowing around it appeared in his palm. It trembled slightly, and contained an extremely powerful spiritual fluctuation. It seemed that it was eager to have a try, and couldn't wait to fight. Old friend, let's fight side by side today. Ling Xiao gently stroked the long sword. The dazzling sword radiance was released. It contained a sharp sword intent as though it could pierce through everything. It was extremely terrifying. The sky-devouring sword was born. Although Ling Xiao rarely used the sky-devouring sword since he entered the divine world to hide his identity, the sky-devouring sword's evolution had never stopped. After the sky-devouring sword merged with the innate Spirit King as its weapon spirit, it had unlimited growth potential. It had devoured countless powerful weapons and even half-saint treasures over the years. The sky-devouring sword was connected to Ling Zhao's bloodline. It had also become a half-saint treasure along with Ling Zhao's advancement to the half-saint realm. Rumble. The sky in all directions trembled violently. A powerful sword intent rose between heaven and earth. Ling Zhao's aura became incomparably sharp in an instant. He held the sky-devouring sword, and his entire person seemed to have turned into a sword saint. He controlled the origin of sword Dao and possessed supreme killing power. The sky-devouring sword slashed forward like a golden river. It was a misty and mysterious world of sword Dao. It greeted Ji Tian and the others. Clang. The sound of metal clashing resounded. Runes exploded one after another. The purple saber in Ji Tian's hand was also a powerful half-saint treasure. However, the moment it collided with the sky-devouring sword, it exploded with a loud bang. The sky-devouring sword slashed towards Ji Tian's neck. Ji Tian's expression changed greatly. A purple thunderbolt shot out from his palm towards the sky-devouring sword. He couldn't help but quickly retreat. Rumble! The sky-devouring sword shattered the purple thunderbolt. After forcing Ji Tian to retreat, it was like a heavenly river descending from the 9 heavens. An unparalleled sharpness erupted and directly cut 7 to 8 figures at the front in half. Blood bloomed and dyed the void red. It looked demonic and strange. Chapter 1757. The sky-devouring sword blossomed with blazing rays of light. The flesh and blood of the 7 or 8 figures slain by the sky-devouring sword were instantly devoured by the sky-devouring sword. Boundless vitality poured into the sky-devouring sword, causing it to become even more resplendent. It was even suffused with a strange blood-colored sword light. Those who block me shall die. Ling Zhao's voice was incomparably cold, as though it came from the depths of hell. The faces of the people in front of him couldn't help but change drastically as they felt their scalps go numb. Boom! The sky-devouring sword erupted with terrifying divine might. It was like a powerful half-step saint. In an instant, millions of rays of light bloomed in the void and slashed down towards those people. With the sky-devouring sword in hand, Ling Zhao was like a tiger entering a flock of sheep as he unleashed a massacre. Everyone who was killed by the sky-devouring sword had their life essence sucked dry in an instant, and turned into a dried corpse. Blood splattered everywhere in the void. More than a dozen formidable semi-sage experts had died at Ling Zhao's hands in the blink of an eye. What? How can he be so strong? Everyone was shocked, and their voices were trembling. If Ling Zhao was said to be frightening just now, then the current Ling Zhao with the sky-devouring sword in hand was terrifying and frightening. As soon as the sky-devouring sword appeared, it blossomed with a sharpness that shocked everyone. Mother, Father is so powerful. Kill this group of bad guys. Little White's eyes were filled with worship as he clapped his little hands happily. These people really deserve to die. Ji Feishuan nodded with a strange expression in her eyes. Is this Martial Granduncle Long? He is too fierce, isn't he? This kind of killing efficiency really makes me feel inferior. Gao Yang said with his eyes wide open. Although most of the people who died at Ling Zhao's hands were low-level half-step saints, this kind of killing speed still shocked Gao Yang. It's the sword in Martial Granduncle Long's hand. Not only can it devour the vitality of others, but it can also increase Martial Granduncle Long's strength? What kind of treasure is this? Wu Xiong's eyes flashed as he said in shock. Boom! Ling Zhao held the sky-devouring sword, looking like a blood-soaked demon god. His eyes were cold and merciless, reaping the lives of those who dared to attack him. At the same time, the blood qi in the sky-devouring sword surged and merged into Ling Zhao's body, forming a terrifying bloody light around him, making his aura more and more terrifying and powerful. It was as if the more people he killed, the stronger Ling Zhao became. There's actually such a vicious weapon that sucks the life out of people? Long Outyan must be a spy from the demon race. Everyone has the right to punish him. Shui Yuan Pil Saint roared. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. Ni Shang sneered and said, Shui Yuanzi, you practice the divine way of blood spirit and can also suck people's essence blood. You also have the 10,000 spirits blood flame and the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron. If Martial Uncle Long is a spy of the demon tribe, then are you also a spy of the demon tribe? How can Long Outyin be compared to me? My divine way of blood spirit is a righteous path. Long Outyin has embarked on the evil path. He's not a member of the demon tribe, but he's worse than a member of the demon tribe. The war god temple can't absolve itself from the blame. Shui Yuan Pil Saint said coldly. Boom. The massacre continued. Those who dared to attack Ling Shao no longer had any fighting spirit. They were all crying and begging for mercy. They fled in all directions, letting out extremely miserable cries. Ji Tian's lungs were about to explode when he saw this scene. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. Even if the other geniuses died, Ji Sky wouldn't feel any heartache. But those dozen subordinates of his were all his trusted aides. Now that Ling Shao had slaughtered half of them like chopping melons, it made his heart bleed. Long Outyin, you deserve to die. Ji Tian roared and spat out a mouthful of purple blood. The lightning around his body was blazing as he pounced towards Ling Shao. Ji Tian directly took out the 4 powerful sage-level treasures and attacked Ling Shao at the same time. Clang, clang, clang. A burst of dazzling sparks shot out in all directions. The 4 semi-sage level treasures collided with the heaven-swallowing sword and released a dazzling divine splendor. Cracks started to appear on the surface of these treasures. Then they quickly became extremely dim. Ji Tian could feel that the heaven-devouring sword was able to steal the essence of the 4 sage-level treasures with every collision. It wouldn't be long before they were completely destroyed by the heaven-devouring sword. How can Long Outyin have so many treasures? Ji Tian was so depressed that he was about to vomit blood. Not to mention the powerful flipping sky seal, Ling Shao still had the 9 heavenly Dao chaotic tablets and the 10 saint steel that he had obtained in the Void Saint world. Now, with the addition of the heaven-devouring sword, Ji Tian was about to go crazy with jealousy. As the holy son of the imperial obelisk, he only had 1 flawless sage-level treasure, and it was obtained with great difficulty. However, compared to Ling Shao, it was too far away. Boom. The 4 sage-level treasures exploded with a loud bang. Ling Zhao's eyes were cold as he slashed at Ji Tian with the heaven-devouring sword in his hand. Ji Tian's eyes revealed a trace of pain. A purple ancient talisman appeared in his hand, containing an ancient and mysterious aura. In an instant, he slapped it towards Ling Shao. Gotcha! The purple ancient talisman shone brightly and bloomed in the void in an instant, turning into a lightning chain. It was like a lightning dragon exuding a powerful dragon's aura. It intersected with each other and turned into a huge cage, trapping Ling Shao within. Long Outyin, you should be proud to die under the 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman. Ji Tian said coldly. The 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman was an ancient sage-level talisman that he had obtained from an ancient ruin. It was said to be passed down by the Thunder Emperor, and it had the power to destroy everything. It could even injure a true sage. It was one of his trump cards. Although the 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman couldn't explode with all the power of sage-level treasures in the Musashi Mountain, it was infinitely close to the power of sage-level treasures. As long as he could kill Ling Shao, it would be worth it. Explode! Following Ji Tian's cold shout, the 9 lightning dragons surrounding Ling Shao exploded in an instant. The terrifying power of sage-level treasures erupted like the first lightning at the beginning of the world, containing the power of great destruction. Ling Shao was drowned by the lightning that filled the sky. 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman? In order to kill Long Outyin, Ji Tian actually took out such a supreme sage-level talisman? It seems that Long Outyin is dead for sure. This is the legendary sage-level talisman that can injure a sage. Everyone exclaimed in surprise, their eyes filled with disbelief. Even a 9th Revolution half-saint would undoubtedly die under the 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman, let alone a 2nd Revolution half-saint like Ling Shao. Chapter 1758. Rumble. The terrifying lightning engulfed Ling Shao, and the void shattered like a mirror. Chaotic mist filled the air, and everything seemed to have ceased to exist. Within the endless lightning, only the 9 lightning dragons were roaring. they exploded with an ancient and powerful dragon might, causing people to tremble all over. Their eyes were filled with shock. Ji Feishuan and I Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang's expressions changed instantly, revealing an incomparably worried expression. This was a supreme saint talisman. Although saint energy was prohibited on Mount Musashi, the 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman's power was still unleashed to the extreme. It made them feel that if they were hit by this saint talisman, their souls would scatter in an instant. However, suddenly, a purplish-golden bolt of lightning rose up in the sky. An ancient and mysterious dragon's roar rang out in an instant. An extremely mysterious figure seemed to appear and began to devour the vast power of lightning in the surroundings. Very soon, it gradually solidified. It was a majestic and ancient silhouette that stood in the sky. Lightning flashed around his body, and purple clouds rose around him. It was as if he was the god of thunder from the ancient times, and he unleashed a heaven-shaking, earth-shattering power. The lightning that filled the sky was devoured by that figure, and in the end, the chaotic aura filled the air. That figure actually turned into Ling Xiao's appearance and walked out of the endless lightning. He was unharmed. How is this possible? Someone's body trembled, and he couldn't even speak clearly. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Under the 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman's explosion, not only was Ling Xiao not killed, he was not even seriously injured. He walked out unharmed, shocking everyone. How did he do it? This Long Outyan is too terrifying. Everyone had the same question in their hearts, and they did not dare to believe everything that was happening before their eyes. Thunder Emperor's true body. Long Outyan, you actually dared to steal my 9-layered Imperial Gate Supreme Saint technique, the Thunder Emperor technique? You're simply courting death. Ji Sky's eyes were filled with disbelief, and then he became furious. His blood-red eyes were filled with blazing killing intent. Even though that aura was just a flash, Ji Sky still recognized it. Ling Xiao cultivated the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk's Supreme Lightning Dao Saint technique, the Lightning Emperor technique. Only the Lightning Emperor technique was capable of so easily neutralizing the power of the 9 dragons' heavenly lightning talisman, and even devouring it to condense the Lightning Emperor's true body. What? Long Outyan actually cultivated the Lightning Emperor technique? That's impossible, right? Shocking things happened one after another. Everyone hadn't recovered from the shock of seeing Ling Xiao escape unscathed from the 9 dragons' heavenly thunder talisman. Suddenly hearing Ji Tian's words, everyone was even more shocked. What was the Lightning Emperor technique? The Supreme Saint technique of the 9-fold Imperial Obelisk contained the Thunder Dao origin energy. It was terrifying and could be said to be the #1 offensive saint technique of the 9-fold Imperial Obelisk. Only true disciples could cultivate it. If Ling Xiao had really secretly learned the Thunder Emperor technique, then the 9 Imperial Gates and Ling Xiao would probably have a fight to the death. It would be even more serious than killing the 9 Imperial Gates' true disciple. After all, a sect's Supreme Saint technique was its foundation. It was impossible to allow it to be leaked. However, no one saw clearly whether Ling Xiao had used the Lightning Emperor technique, so they were somewhat skeptical of Ji Tian's words. Ling Xiao naturally wouldn't admit it, even though he had just used the Lightning Emperor technique to neutralize the 9 dragons' heavenly lightning talisman. Ling Xiao sneered. Ji Tian, if you want to kill me, just do it. There's no point in framing me like this. I clearly used my War God Hall's Divine Firmament World Annihilation Lightning Dao. How can a mere 9 dragons' heavenly lightning talisman break my War God Hall's Divine Firmament World Annihilation Lightning Dao? Long Outyan, don't try to quibble. You dare to secretly learn my 9-fold Imperial Obelisk's Lightning Emperor technique? You're dead meat. No one can save you this time. Ji Tian's eyes were blood-red, filled with cold killing intent. Is that so? Then I want to see if it's you who dies or me. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent, and a terrifying sword intent rose around him. In an instant, the sky-devouring sword bloomed with a blazing light and slashed toward Ji Tian like a resplendent galaxy. Among the crowd, only Ji Tian realized that Ling Xiao had used the Lightning Emperor technique. If he really told the higher-ups of the ninefold imperial obelisk, it wouldn't just be Huang Tai coming to the War God Hall to denounce them. This Ji Tian must die. Ji Tian's expression was incomparably ugly. Ling Xiao held the sky-devouring sword, and his aura was incomparably sharp. His attacks were incomparably ruthless, making him feel extremely sullen. Ji Tian's previous battle with Ji Feishuan could be said to be a lose-lose situation, and he himself was severely injured. If he was at his peak, he was confident that he could fight Ling Xiao. However, not only did he feel powerless now, but his internal injuries were also showing signs of worsening. Rumble. Purple runes gushed out from Ji Tian's palm and collided with the sky-devouring sword. However, the purple runes were instantly destroyed, leaving a deep wound on his palm. Ji Tian quickly retreated, dodging the sky-devouring sword's sharp edge. Long Outyan, you deserve to die. The Blood Origin Pill Saint also saw that Ji Tian's current condition was not good. He was instantly enraged, and a bloody light surrounded him. He was about to give up on Ni Shang and attack Ling Xiao. Blood Origin Pill Saint, you want to leave just like that? I'm afraid it won't be that easy, right? A cold light flashed in Ni Shang's eyes. The ancient sword in her hand was extremely fast, as though it had transcended time and space. It became even sharper and fiercer, constantly attacking the vital parts of the Blood Origin Pill Saint's body. Ni Shang's heart was also stifled. Previously, the Blood Origin Pill Saint stopped her from saving Ji Feishuan. Now, she naturally couldn't let the Blood Origin Pill Saint go to save Ji Tian. Everyone was already in a real fight. As for the consequences of killing Ji Tian, it wasn't something they needed to consider now. Rumble. A fierce great battle broke out once again. Ji Tian became surrounded by perilous situations. Lu Yun and Gao Yang's eyes flashed. They didn't choose to save Ji Tian. On the contrary, if Ling Xiao killed Ji Tian, the relationship between the War God Hall and the ninefold imperial obelisk would be completely broken. This was what the Heavenly Curse sect and the Five Elements Saint sect were most willing to see. A bloody light filled the air. The sky-devouring sword soared into the sky, leaving a deep wound on Ji Tian's chest. If Ji Tian hadn't dodged quickly, it seemed like his entire body would have been split into two. The sky-devouring sword flashed with a demonic bloody light. A portion of Ji Tian's blood essence had been devoured by the sky-devouring sword, turning into majestic life essence. It merged into Ling Xiao's body, causing Ling Xiao's aura to become even stronger. Ji Sky's expression became more and more unsightly. His eyes were filled with anger and killing intent. This battle made him feel incomparably sullen, and the battle strength that Ling Xiao had erupted with made him incomparably shocked in his heart. Chapter 1759. Boom. Just as everyone was fighting fiercely, rays of blood-red light spread out and merged with the Jade Wall of Life. The Jade Wall of Life shone brightly and instantly released a blazing blood-red divine light. The Jade Wall of Life began to tremble. 36 rays of divine light were instantly released from the Jade Wall of Life. They shot directly onto the stone futons in front of them, causing the 36 stone futons to emit a majestic aura of life. The Jade Wall of Life has opened. Everyone's body trembled. Then they were overjoyed. The 36 stone futons shone brightly and were filled with vitality. There was a powerful Taoist rhyme intertwining with them, forming a mysterious connection with the Jade Wall of Life. It made people want to sit on them at a glance. Everyone quickly snatched the stone futons. Everyone's eyes were filled with excitement. There were hundreds of people here, but there were only 36 stone futons. If they wanted to snatch the stone futons, there would definitely be a fierce battle. Moreover, among the 36 stone futons, the closer to the front, the better. The chances of comprehending the secret skill of life would be higher. Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the others who were fighting fiercely no longer had any intention to continue fighting. All of them rushed towards the stone praying mat and aimed at the first position. Get lost. Lu Yun's eyes were cold. He waved his sleeve and jade-colored runes spread out. They looked dazzling and flew directly towards Wu Xiong. They exploded with a loud bang. Lu Yun, on the other hand, moved towards the stone futon. Lu Yun, come back here. Wu Xiong's qi and blood surged to the sky. His eyes were extremely red, and he did not dodge at all. He directly collided with the runes in the sky. Chaotic qi spread out, and the runes exploded around him, leaving bloody wounds on his body. However, Wu Xiong did not even frown. He followed Lu Yun's figure closely and reached out to grab Lu Yun's head. Wang Dao and Gao Yang, and Ai Shang, and the Blood Origin Alchemy Saint also erupted in an intense battle. They all flew towards the 36 stone futons. The first position is mine. Ji Tian's eyes were blazing. After discovering that the jade disc of life had opened, he spat out a mouthful of blood from Ling Zhao's attack. However, he was extremely fast and took the lead to fly towards the first stone cushion. As long as he occupied one of the 36 stone praying mats, he would be protected by the life jade wall. There would be a life barrier around him and he would not be attacked by others. Ji Sky swore in his heart. Once he obtained the life secret technique, he would summon De Zhou Tian's formless sword array and Zhou Tian sword. That would be the day Ling Xiao died. Just as Ji Sky was about to land on the stone praying mat, a white shadow suddenly crashed towards Ji Sky. But it was the life source beast Little White. Like a bolt of white lightning, its furry little claws slapped Ji Tian's face. Although Whitey looked very cute, the terrifying power in its body was not small. Only to hear a crisp sound transmitted over, Ji Sky was directly sent flying out. This seat belongs to my mother, you big bad guy. Whitey said in a childish voice. Ji Feishuan was supported by Whitey and landed directly on the first stone praying mat. Suddenly, a bright white light bloomed and turned into a life barrier, enveloping Ji Feishuan and Whitey. Ji Tun was stunned. When he came to his senses, he was so angry that his whole body was trembling. His handsome face was distorted, and his eyes were filled with monstrous anger and killing intent. Before he could say anything, a snow-white sword light streaked across the sky. Its speed was extremely fast, and in an instant, it pierced through Ji Tian's chest and nailed him to the mountain wall in the distance. Ling Zhao's gaze was incomparably sharp. The sky-devouring sword bloomed with a bright light, and a blood-red color permeated the air as it began to devour the majestic vitality in Ji Tian's body. As the saying goes, take the enemy's life when they are sick. Ling Xiao wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to kill Ji Tian directly. Ji Tian's body turned cold, and in an instant, his soul almost left his body. His eyes were filled with incomparable horror. Get out of my way! Ji Tian roared. He could feel that the sky-devouring sword was stealing the energy in his body. In the blink of an eye, a small part of his life source had been devoured by the sky-devouring sword. If this continued, his life source would be completely devoured by the sky-devouring sword sooner or later, and he would become a dried corpse. Under this kind of threat, Ji Tian immediately began to fight with all his might. His body bloomed with a bright holy light, and a terrifying force erupted from his palms. He directly grabbed the sky-devouring sword and pulled it out from his chest. The sky-devouring sword hummed and trembled, containing a bloodthirsty killing intent. It was as if it would pierce a bloody hole in Ji Tian's body at any time. Long Outyen, you are courting death. Seeing this scene, the Blood Origin Pill Saint was instantly enraged. He gave up fighting with Nikhang for the stone praying mat and turned into a blood-red light, suddenly rushing towards Ling Xiao. At this moment, Ling Xiao was already close to Ji Tian, and he was about to smash Ji Tian's head with a punch. Boom! The Blood Origin Pill Saint's body was enveloped in the 10,000 spirits blood flame as if it was burning. He erupted with the peak of a 9th Revolution half-saint and directly collided with Ling Xiao's attack, forcing Ling Xiao to retreat. Long Outyen, I will not rest until you die. Ji Tian looked at Ling Xiao with incomparable hatred. Just now, he really felt that death was approaching. If the Blood Origin Pill Saint had not blocked Ling Xiao's fatal attack, he was afraid that he would have died in Ling Xiao's hands. Ji Tian said ruthlessly, and his entire body instantly shifted away. He directly chose a stone praying mat and sat down on it. He was afraid that if he had been a little slower, he would have really died in Ling Xiao's hands. However, what made Ji Tian feel incomparably sullen was that the stone praying mat he chose was the last one. Although the boundary of life rose around him, the majestic life energy was obviously much weaker than Ji Feishuan's stone praying mat. Although Ji Tian was extremely unwilling, he could only seize the time to absorb the surrounding life energy. He began to heal himself while preparing to comprehend the secret skill of life at the same time. What a pity! A trace of pity flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. If the blood origin pill saint had not stopped him, Ji Tian would have died in his hands. After Ling Xiao and the blood origin pill saint collided, Ling Xiao directly used the secret skill of teleportation. In an instant he appeared behind Ji Feishuan, where the second stone praying mat was located. At this moment, Lu Yun and Wang Dao were already close to the stone praying mat. The two of them also noticed Ling Xiao, and a trace of ferocious killing intent flashed in their eyes. They were about to join forces to attack Ling Xiao so that they could seize the second stone praying mat's position. However, Ling Xiao only smiled at them and softly uttered a word. Freeze. Chapter 1760. Even though Lu Yun and Wang Dao were powerful, they still fell for Ling Xiao's time cycle. Boom! Ling Xiao sat cross-legged on the stone futon. His body was surrounded by a majestic aura of life. The radiance was dazzling and formed a powerful boundary of life. Thank you for letting me win. Ling Xiao smiled faintly at Lu Yun and Wang Dao. Lu Yun and Wang Dao were so depressed that they almost vomited blood. Although the power of time cycle only made them pause for a breath's time was enough to change many things. Not only did Ling Xiao occupy the second stone futon, but Enai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang also occupied the third, fourth, and fifth stone futons. Long Aotian, you and I are irreconcilable. Wang Dao roared furiously. He glared at Ling Xiao and turned to pounce on the other stone futons. Lu Yun and Wang Dao were powerful and quickly occupied the sixth and seventh stone futons. The Blood Yuan Elixir Saint occupied the eighth stone futon. The other stone futons also had owners very quickly. Only Ji Tian was the most miserable. He was forced by Ling Xiao to choose the 36th stone futon. Rumble! When the 36 stone futons had owners, the Jade Wall of Life suddenly released a dazzling light. It was vast and ancient and contained a majestic aura of life. It was as if a mysterious world had been opened. All 36 of them were enveloped by it and fell into a mysterious realm. Boom! When Ling Xiao opened his eyes, he immediately came to an unfamiliar world. The world was fiery red and filled with thick black smoke. The dense aura of death permeated the air, making people feel as if they had come to a land of death. Ling Xiao was tied to a metal pillar, and all the energy in his body had disappeared. He became extremely weak, and the metal pillar behind him was burned red. It was branded on his back, burning his skin and flesh, and emitting a charred smell. The pain seemed to be magnified by 100 times. Even with Ling Xiao's willpower, he couldn't help but frown. What is this place? Ling Xiao was puzzled. Wasn't he comprehending the secret skill of life in front of the Jade Wall of Life? Why did he come to such a place? Was it an illusion? Ling Xiao couldn't be sure, but the pain was real, and it seemed like it would never end. This is the hell of tongue ripping. Kid, you sowed discord and slandered others while you were alive. That's why you were sent to this hell of tongue ripping after your death. You'll have to suffer 1,000 types of torture and pain in order to wash away your sins. Open your mouth obediently and let me pull out your tongue. A sinister voice sounded. Two ferocious-looking messengers of death appeared in front of Ling Xiao. They were surrounded by a dense ghost qi. Their eyes were blood-red and filled with cruelty. Tongue-ripping hell? 18 levels of hell? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. It was rumored that after a person died and entered the cycle of reincarnation, they could be reborn. However, Those who had committed grave sins would enter the 18 levels of hell and suffer endless pain and torment. Inside the jade annulus of life were the 18 levels of hell? That's right. Ling Xiao, you're already dead. You died in the supreme celestial region of the divine world, in the great Zhou divine country's Martial Mountain. You died while trying to comprehend the jade annulus of life. King Yama has sentenced you to the 18 levels of hell. This is only the first level. You can slowly enjoy it. The two messengers of death laughed coldly. Then, without any explanation, they walked forward. One of them pried open Ling Xiao's mouth while the other took out a pair of iron-red pincers. They clamped onto Ling Xiao's tongue and pulled with all their might. The smell of burnt flesh mixed with fresh blood. The pain was magnified countless times. Ling Xiao was in so much pain that he felt as if he was going to die here. If this is an illusion, isn't it too realistic? I cultivate the great empty heart charm scripture and have a treasure like the wordless heavenly book. It's impossible for me not to sense an illusion. Could it be that I'm really dead? Amidst the endless pain, Ling Xiao even began to doubt his current situation. After all, Ling Xiao did not have a single trace of cultivation. He was like a mortal being tortured by these two brats. The pain of having his tongue pulled out was really fucking painful. Bang! After Ling Xiao's tongue was forcefully pulled out by the messengers of death, blood spurted out of his mouth. However, a new tongue grew out of his mouth. The messengers of death did not seem to know fatigue. They extended their fiery red pincers and began to pull out his tongue again. Just like that, Ling Xiao did not know whether his tongue was pulled out 1,000 or 10,000 times. Even with his willpower, he could not bear it anymore. In the end, he fell into endless darkness. Was he really dead just like that? In the darkness, Ling Xiao seemed to see a new world. It was still the same world. The sky was dark and gloomy. The only difference was that there were two messengers of death. Ling Xiao's hands and legs were tied. The two messengers of death held large scissors in their hands and had sinister smiles on their faces. Ling Xiao, welcome to the second level of the Hell of Scissors. The two of us will treat you well. After speaking, the two messengers of death walked forward with sinister smiles. They began to use the large scissors to cut off Ling Xiao's 10 fingers. Ling Xiao sucked in a breath of cold air. As the saying went, the 10 fingers were connected to the heart. He was now a mortal, and all the divine abilities on his body had disappeared. A heart-wrenching pain came from where his 10 fingers were cut off, causing Ling Xiao's face to turn incomparably pale. After his 10 fingers were cut off, Ling Xiao's 10 fingers quickly grew back. The cycle repeated. The pain was maddening, as if there was no end to it. I'm not dead. Although Ling Xiao's face was incomparably pale from the pain, his eyes were incomparably bright. This was because he could sense that there was a trace of vitality in his body. It was this trace of vitality that allowed his tongue to grow back and his severed fingers to regrow. In hell, there was no vitality. Ling Xiao could already confirm that perhaps the 18 levels of hell were some kind of test. A test to obtain the secret of life. Soon, Ling Xiao's consciousness fell into darkness. The third level, Hell of Trees of Steel. The fourth level, Hell of Mirrors of Retribution. The fifth level, Hell of Steamers. Just like that, Ling Xiao experienced the torment of hell after hell. His tongue was pulled out, his 10 fingers were cut off, his heart was pierced by thousands of arrows, and he was burned to ashes. He experienced a mountain of knives and a sea of fire. All kinds of torture made him experience the fear of life and the unbearable pain of death. If it was an ordinary person, after experiencing this series of oppression, even if they didn't die, they would have gone completely crazy. However, Ling Xiao firmly believed that all of this was a test. Or rather, all of this was just an illusion. His tempered heart had never wavered in the slightest. Chapter 1761. The 18th level, Hell of Sawing. When Ling Xiao was sawed into two again and again, and even had to look at his own flesh and blood with his own eyes, Ling Xiao suddenly had an epiphany. Life and death were never diametrically opposed. Life and death complemented each other. The extreme of life was death, and the extreme of death was life. If one wanted to understand the preciousness of life, perhaps one had to understand the fear and pain of death. Was the jade wall of life trying to let people understand the mystery of life in this way? It was just that this method was too cruel. If it weren't for his strong will, he would probably have gone mad after walking through the 18 levels of hell. It was even more impossible for him to maintain a clear and calm mind like Ling Xiao, pondering the meaning of life. How can one know life without knowing death? Ling Xiao's eyes shone with a bright light. Rumble. When this thought appeared in Ling Xiao's mind, the world around him suddenly shattered. The 18 levels of hell and the ghost servants all disappeared. Ling Xiao's consciousness seemed to have entered the depths of the jade wall of life. The surroundings were filled with chaotic fog, and 2 ancient stone tablets appeared in front of him. The 2 stone tablets, one black and one white, flowed with a mysterious aura. They were ancient and mysterious. After Ling Xiao appeared, the 2 stone tablets instantly shone brightly, and 2 mysterious scriptures appeared. Like flowing light, they surged into Ling Xiao's body. Rumble. The wordless heavenly book trembled violently. The 2 scriptures, one black and one white, entered Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness like 2 black and white divine dragons, and were instantly swallowed by the wordless heavenly book. The wordless heavenly book shone brightly, exuding an extremely excited fluctuation. Chaotic fog filled the air, and 2 ancient secret skills appeared on it. Secret skill of life. Incomplete, secret skill of death. Incomplete. It's actually the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death? But why is there a secret skill of death here? And both of them are incomplete. Ling Xiao's body trembled, and a look of incomparable surprise appeared in his eyes. However, he was immediately puzzled. The jade wall of life was too mysterious, and Ling Xiao couldn't figure out its depth. Especially when the 18 levels of hell were able to block Ling Xiao's perception of the heart realm and the wordless heavenly book. This could only mean that the jade wall of life wasn't simple. However, it was only rumored that there was a secret skill of life in the Martial Mountain. No one had ever said that there was a secret skill of life and death. Ling Xiao guessed that he was probably the only one who had obtained the secret technique of death. The others had probably only obtained the secret technique of life. Why is it only incomplete? Or, the secret skill of life in the jade wall of life isn't complete? Ling Xiao pondered. According to Ji Feishuan, the Ji clan's Mount Martial treasury had a long heritage that could even be traced back to Empress life. It contained a complete life mystic technique. Only by obtaining the life mystic technique could one control the cyclic sword and become the divine emperor of the great Zhou divine kingdom, or even the head of the Ji clan. However, after Ji Chufeng became an immortal emperor in the past 1 million years, nobody else had obtained the complete life secret skill of it. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. That was very likely. Ling Xiao could feel that the secret skill of life and secret skill of death he obtained were incomplete. It was probably less than 1/10 of the complete secret skill of life. This filled Ling Xiao's heart with regret. While Ling Xiao obtained the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death, Ji Chufeng, who was sitting cross-legged in a secret chamber in the imperial city of the heavenly capital, slowly opened his eyes. 2 black divine lights pierced through the void. They contained an evil and cold light. They didn't look like the eyes of a human. Instead, they looked like the eyes of a ferocious beast. The Martial Mountain has opened, and the life source beast has appeared. Most importantly, Ji Feishuan has returned. Whether or not we can open that supreme treasure will depend on this. Ji Chufeng muttered to himself. His voice was filled with excitement and fanaticism. Don't worry. I can feel that the item is on Ji Feishuan. She is indeed the person chosen by the ancestors of the Ji clan. As long as the Zhou Tian mirror is opened, you can use her as a blood sacrifice. Not only will you be able to become a saint, but you will also be able to control the Zhou Tian mirror. A charming female voice sounded from Ji Chufeng's body. It was extremely tempting. You're right. I've waited for 1 million years. Once I control the Zhou Tian mirror, The Ji clan will definitely be able to restore the glory of our ancestors and become an emperor clan again. Ji Chufeng said with fanaticism. His entire body was trembling. Now that everything is ready, we're only one step away from success. I hope you won't forget your promise after you succeed. The charming female said slowly. Don't worry. Once I become a saint and control the Zhou Zhou Tian mirror, I will definitely reconstruct your body and help you be reborn. Ji Chufeng smiled proudly. I believe in you. The rest is up to you. Although Ling Xiao had obtained the incomplete parts of the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death from the Jade Wall of Life, he was still puzzled. Even if Ji Chufeng had done something, he couldn't figure out how Ji Chufeng erased the other parts of the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death and left them incomplete. Buzz. Not long after, a ray of light flashed in the void. Ji Feishuan carried the life source beast and arrived in this chaotic space. I didn't expect you to be faster than me. Ji Feishuan looked at Ling Xiao in shock. The 18 levels of hell were extremely terrifying. Even now, Ji Feishuan still felt a lingering fear. If not for the help of the life source beast, it wouldn't have been so easy for Ji Feishuan to pass the 18 levels of hell so quickly. She did not expect Ling Xiao to be faster than her with just his own strength. Just how tenacious was this man in front of her? I was just lucky. Did you also go through the 18 levels of hell? Ling Xiao smiled when he saw Ji Feishuan. That's right. It's the 18 levels of hell. It's a terrifying place. I didn't expect that in order to comprehend the secret skill of life, one must first understand the meaning of death. Fortunately, Little White was here at the crucial moment. Ji Feishuan sighed softly. Little White also raised its little head proudly. How can one know life without knowing death? This is because there's not only the secret skill of life, but also the secret skill of death. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Secret skill of death? Ji Feishuan's body trembled. She also saw the two ancient stone tablets in front of Ling Xiao. They were emitting black and white divine lights. In an instant, two ancient scriptures merged into Ji Feishuan's sea of consciousness. Chapter 1762. Rumble. Ji Feishuan's body blossomed with a blazing radiance, causing the surrounding primal chaos void to violently tremble. The black and white divine radiances intertwined on her body, emitting the true intent of death and life, causing her to appear incomparably mysterious at this moment. Ji Feishuan's glabella glowed, and an extremely mysterious world seemed to appear behind her. A peerless figure seemed to have appeared from the endless years, exuding an invincible aura that could suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths. This is the Empress Shadow in the Tao Comprehension Sea. Could she be the legendary Life Empress? Ling Zhao's body trembled as he thought to himself. Buzz. After the figure appeared, the chaotic void began to tremble violently. An ancient mirror also flew out from Ji Feishuan's body and floated in the void. It seemed to be able to illuminate the heavens and myriad worlds. Billions of miles of the galaxy appeared in 2 colors, black and white. One side was as black as ink and contained an endless amount of death qi, while the other side was as white as snow and seemed to contain a vast amount of life qi. The Mirror of Zhou Tian. After the appearance of the Mirror of Zhou Tian, Ling Xiao felt as though the chaotic void was about to shatter, and an incomparable joy and excitement filled the air. The more intense the true intent of death and life qi emitted from Ji Feishuan, the more dazzling the Mirror of Zhou Tian became. Ling Xiao even felt as though Ji Feishuan was about to become the owner of this world, as a vast amount of power erupted from her body. Buzz. However, the true intent of life and death disappeared from Ji Feishuan's body all of a sudden. The light of the Mirror of Zhou Tian also dimmed instantly, and the surroundings gradually returned to normal. The Mirror of Zhou Tian seemed to be extremely unwilling, but it still turned into a ray of light and shot into Ji Feishuan's body. So that's how it is. Ji Feishuan slowly opened her eyes, revealing a strange expression. Junior Sister Ji, what's going on? Ling Xiao asked in confusion. Ling Xiao, do you know what the Jade Annulus of Life is? Ji Feishuan did not answer Ling Zhao's question directly. Jade annulus of life? Isn't that the place that contains the secret technique of life? Could it be that it has other uses? That's right. The jade annulus of life is not just the jade annulus of life. The jade annulus of life is the true body of the Zhou Tian mirror, and the Zhou Tian mirror in my hand is only its artifact spirit. Ji Feishuan said slowly. A light flashed in her palm and the Zhou Tian mirror appeared in her hand. It was dazzling and gorgeous. Black and white intertwined as if it contained the profundity of life and death. The real body of the Zhou Tian mirror? Could it be that the Zhou Tian mirror is? Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat as he thought of a certain possibility. He could not help but tremble violently. That's right. The Zhou Tian mirror is an extreme Dao monarch weapon. It was left behind by our ancestor, the Life Empress. To be exact, it should be called the Zhou Tian mirror of life and death. One side can determine life, and the other side can determine death. Everything in this world is under the control of this mirror. That's why you can see that there are not only life secret techniques, but also death secret techniques. Ji Feishuan said slowly with a tinge of emotion in her eyes. Extreme Dao Emperor weapon? Zhou Tian's life and death mirror? Ling Zhao's heart was in turmoil. What was an extreme Dao Emperor weapon? It was an extreme Dao supreme treasure that a great emperor had spent his entire life refining. It contained the supreme heavenly Dao that a great emperor had comprehended. Its power was terrifying and even comparable to a real great emperor. The reason why the monarch clans were called monarch clans was because they possessed the bloodline of a great emperor. More importantly, they had an extreme Dao emperor weapon to protect their fate. The reason why the 12 immortal sacred grounds could stand tall in the divine world for hundreds of millions of years was also because of the protection of the extreme Dao emperor weapon. Otherwise, their orthodoxies would have been destroyed long ago. It could be said that as long as there was an extreme Dao emperor weapon, it could create a supreme sacred ground and a great force. If someone could control an extreme Dao emperor weapon, it would be equivalent to having a great emperor protecting him. Not only would he possess monstrous combat strength, but he would also be destined to become a supreme expert in the future. Ling Xiao did not expect that the life jade annulus in the Musashi Mountain was actually an extreme Dao supreme treasure left behind by the Life Empress. The life and death mirror of Zhou Tian could determine the life and death of a person. There was no exception. It sounded extremely domineering. However, why would the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian be here? Moreover, no one had been able to open it for so many years. As if she saw the doubt in Ling Zhao's eyes, Ji Feishuan explained, "My Ji clan has been around since the ancient times. We have experienced a few great calamities, including the terrifying great calamity of the era. The life and death mirror of Zhou Tian was also damaged in the end. The weapon spirit and the body were separated. I don't know which ancestor placed the weapon spirit in the Void Saint world and placed the body in the Musashi Mountain to form the life jade annulus. This life jade annulus is extremely mysterious. Even a sage could not tell its true origin. It's the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian. It's extremely difficult to make the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian recognize you as its master. Not only do you have to obtain the weapon spirit, but you also have to comprehend the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death. Moreover, you have to have the bloodline of my Ji clan to be able to do all of this. However, although there were outstanding people in my Ji clan who managed to comprehend the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death, they could not find the weapon spirit of the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian. Therefore, they could not open the body of the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian. Gradually, some people even forgot the original appearance of the life jade annulus. Moreover, as the bloodline of the Ji clan became thinner and thinner, only some people could comprehend the secret skill of life. They could not even comprehend the secret skill of death. I see. In that case, you're the one who's destined to be the master of the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian? Ling Xiao exclaimed in surprise. It should be. However, I still lack one condition. That is, I have to obtain the complete secret skill of life and the secret skill of death. However, Someone tampered with the life jade annulus. The two secret skills are already incomplete. Therefore, when I tried to control the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian, I was forcefully interrupted and ultimately failed. A trace of regret appeared in Ji Feishuan's eyes. This information was obtained from the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian after Ji Feishuan obtained the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death. It was a pity that the incomplete secret skill of Zhou Tian didn't allow her to control the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian. It's Ji Chufeng's doing, right? Why would he do that? In other words, he already knew that the Jade Wall of Life was the Heavenly Cycle Death Mirror, but he didn't have a device spirit and couldn't control the Heavenly Cycle Life and Death Mirror. That's why he tampered with it. He didn't hesitate to let other people participate in the Musashi Mountain over the past million years. Ling Zhao's thoughts kept spinning in his mind. A trace of light appeared in his eyes as he voiced his guess. You're right. It's Ji Chufeng. If I'm not wrong, this martial mountain has probably been set up as a trap by him and is waiting for us to fall into it. Chapter 1763. In the sky above the Musashi Mountain. Ji Chufeng stood in the air with an indifferent expression on his face. His eyes were blazing with divine light. He held the Zhou Tian sword in his hand and stared at the jade wall of life below him. The aura around him became more and more terrifying. Ji Chufeng, you can begin. A charming woman's voice sounded from Ji Chufeng's body. It was filled with endless temptation. Holy girl, if the Styx Blood Sea array you laid out really helps me control the Zhou Tian life and death mirror, I'll let you go immediately. Moreover, I'll reconstruct your body. But if you dare to lie to me, don't blame me for making you wish you were dead. Ji Chufeng said coldly. Don't worry. The river Styx Blood Sea formation is the supreme killing formation of my clan. It can even refine a saint, let alone these half-saints. I won't lie to you. The charming woman said. Very good. Pray rise. Ji Chufeng nodded in satisfaction. In an instant, his eyes flashed with a dazzling sharpness as he shouted coldly. Rumble. The void trembled, and the entire Musashi Mountain began to tremble violently. 49 blood-colored pillars rose up from the Musashi Mountain in an instant. They were like heavenly pillars, reaching a height of 1,000,000 zhang. Each pillar was ancient and mysterious. Golden runes were engraved on them. Furthermore, there was a sinister and terrifying figure that appeared. It was like a demon god from the primordial era. It emitted an aura that made one's mind tremble. When the 49 blood pillars rose up, the Martial Keep Mountain was shrouded in a blood-red light. The majestic vitality of the Martial Keep Mountain contained all kinds of precious and rare herbs, all kinds of powerful rare birds and strange beasts. There were even a few demon beasts comparable to the 9th Revolution half-saint. All of them roared. Their eyes revealed a look of incomparable fear. But in the end, they were all swallowed by the blood-red light. A terrifying sea of blood spread out and rose from the foot of Mount Musashi. The waves rose to the sky and headed straight for the top of Mount Musashi. Its target was the jade annulus of life. The boundless vitality contained in the entire Mount Musashi had turned into a vast sea of blood at this moment. It was like a vast river that stretched across millions of miles in the sky. It contained extremely terrifying energy ripples. Death energy overflowed into the heavens, the sea of blood boiled, all life was devoured. The Styx's Blood Sea formation finally released its terrifying power. 1,000,000 years. I have finally waited for this day. As long as I can control Zhou Tian's life and death mirror, I can break the fate of my Ji clan and restore the glory of my Ji clan. So what if he destroyed Musashi Mountain? Even if I have to destroy the entire Great Zhou Divine Kingdom, I won't hesitate. Ji Chufeng's eyes were filled with incomparable madness. Terrifying qi intertwined around him as he controlled the majestic power of the Styx Blood Sea array and charged toward the Jade Wall of Life. Ji Chufeng was enveloped in a layer of blood-red light, which made him look extremely evil. The boundless blood-red light in the sea of blood boiled and even turned into blood-red flames that enveloped the entire Jade Wall of Life and began to burn fiercely. Rumble. The void trembled violently. The 36 stone futons in front of the jade wall of life trembled violently under the interference of the blood-red flames. The majestic vitality was devoured one after another, and the process of comprehending the jade wall of life was interrupted. Everyone woke up from the Tao comprehending realm at this moment, and their expressions changed drastically when they saw the scene in front of them. What's going on? Weren't I in the 18 levels of hell? How did I wake up? Is this also an illusion? This must be the test of the jade wall of life. It must be. Everyone's expressions changed drastically, and their eyes were filled with incomparable terror. Ji Feishuan and Ling Xiao exchanged glances, and their eyes revealed a trace of piercing sharpness. They both understood that Ji Chufeng had made his move. This was indeed a trap. Rumble. As the sea of blood surged, the vast deathly aura converged into the Nether River and enveloped the entire jade wall of life. The blood-red flames burned fiercely, constantly refining the jade wall of life. Although Ling Xiao and the other 36 people were protected by the barrier of life, the Nether River Blood Sea Array was constantly absorbing the energy of the barrier of life. They could feel that the barrier of life was getting weaker and weaker, as though it could collapse at any time. Divine Emperor Ji Chufeng! Someone exclaimed in surprise. Everyone raised their heads at the same time. When they saw Ji Chufeng in the sky, their eyes were filled with disbelief. They never thought that this terrifying array was actually controlled by Ji Chufeng. Ji Chufeng's frenzied gaze made them shudder. Father, what are you doing? Quickly get me out of here. Sitting on the 36th futon, Ji Tian's face was filled with surprise and joy as he hurriedly shouted. However, Ji Chufeng acted as if he didn't hear Ji Tian's cry for help. His expression was still indifferent, and his eyes were filled with madness. He continued to control the Styx Blood Sea Grand Formation, wanting to refine everyone and then kill them all. Father, quickly save us. Father, I don't want to die here. Please save me. Apart from Ji Tian, Ji Chen and a few other princes were also among the 36 people. At this moment, their bodies were trembling as they shouted, and their eyes were incomparably bloodshot. Ji Chufeng's body trembled, and a trace of pity appeared in his eyes. However, it was immediately replaced by madness and indifference. He said indifferently, "It's your honor to be able to become the nourishment for my blood sacrifice Zhou Tian's mirror of life and death. You should be happy to die under the Nether River Blood Sea Array. It's time for you to sacrifice yourselves in order to break the fate of the Ji clan." Ji Chufeng, you're really ruthless. As the saying goes, a great man has to be ruthless. Once your son dies, you can just give birth to a bunch of sons. They should be happy to help you control the mirror of life and death Zhou Tian. The charming woman smiled. Everyone was stunned. Although many people did not understand what the mirror of life and death Zhou Tian was, they understood that Ji Chufeng wanted to sacrifice all of them. Most importantly, he did not intend to let Ji Tian, Ji Chen, and Ji Chufeng off. They were Ji Chufeng's biological sons. As the saying went, even a vicious tiger would not eat its cubs. Even the ferocious demon clan would not kill their own children, but Ji Chufeng intended to kill his own children. Ji Chufeng, you're really crazy. Ji Tian is your biological son. How can you kill him? Chapter 1764. Ji Chufeng, I'm the saint of the heavenly curse sect. Let me go if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, the saints of the heavenly curse sect will raise your great Zhou divine nation to the ground and let you die without a burial. Lu Yun said coldly. That's right. Ji Chufeng, let me and brother Lu Yun go. I think your great Zhou divine nation wants to be destroyed. How can you be so deranged? The entire divine world won't tolerate you. Wang Dao said with a gloomy look. His face was ugly. He could feel the terror of the Styx Blood Sea Formation. Even a 9th revolution demonic saint demonic beast would be turned into a pool of blood in an instant when the blood light rolled out. Except for the 36 of them who occupied the stone cattail hassock and had the protection of the life-bounded domain, The other hundreds of people who had been eliminated had been turned into ashes at this moment. Ji Chufeng was determined to keep everyone here at all costs. He didn't even plan to spare his own son. Father Ji, you really want to kill us? But why is this so? Ji Tian, Ji Qin, and the other princes were pale. Their eyes were filled with disbelief as they trembled uncontrollably. They didn't expect Ji Chufeng to be so deranged. He didn't hesitate to sacrifice his son to refine Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Everyone was puzzled. They couldn't believe that Ji Chufeng would be so deranged. Only Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan knew that Ji Chufeng had gone mad in order to obtain the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. He wanted to kill everyone, especially Ji Feishuan. As long as he refined Ji Feishuan and merged the artifact spirit of the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror with his own body, he would be able to control the extreme Dao Emperor weapon through his special blood sacrifice. Even a true saint would go crazy for an extreme Dao Emperor weapon, let alone Ji Chufeng. You're about to die and you still dare to threaten me? You're really courting death. Let me tell you the truth. Today all of you will die. No one will be spared. The Zhou Tian's life and death mirror is the extreme Dao Emperor weapon of my clan. As long as I control the extreme Dao Emperor weapon, our Ji clan will definitely become an emperor clan and dominate the heavens. For the sake of our clan's hegemony, I can only sacrifice you. Ji Chufeng said coldly, but his voice was cold and emotionless. Rumble. With that, the Styx Blood Sea formation surged even more violently. Blood-red flames burned the space and devoured everything. Even the life barrier was unable to endure such terrifying power. Ji Sky was originally sitting cross-legged on the last stone futon, and the power of the life enchantment was also the weakest. At this moment, the power of the river Styx Blood Sea Grand Array erupted, and the life enchantment suddenly exploded. No! Ji Sky's eyes were filled with incomparable fear. He roared, but the monstrous blood-red flames surged over and directly swept him into the sea of blood. The terrifying power of the formation erupted and directly turned him into a pool of blood. Ji Tian's voice came to an abrupt halt. Everyone's faces instantly became incomparably terrified. It turned out that Ji Chufeng had really gone mad. He had even killed the son he cared about the most. At this time, there was no longer any hope in their hearts. This was especially true for the last few people on the stone praying mats. At this moment, their bodies were trembling. Their faces were incomparably pale, and their eyes were filled with despair. Kacha. Soon, the two geniuses on the 34th and 35th stone praying mats, who were both Third Revolution half-saints, also died in the river Styx Blood Sea Grand Array with blood-curdling screams. Ling Xiao, it seems like we're really going to die here this time. This formation is even more terrifying than the Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation. I'm afraid that even a true saint would be annihilated here. I've implicated you. Ji Chufeng smiled bitterly, and his voice transmitted into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said, "Junior Sister Ji, don't give up so early. Perhaps there's still a chance. If you can control the Zhou Tian's life-death mirror before Ji Chufeng performs the blood sacrifice, we might still have a chance of survival." Easier said than done. Ling Xiao, unless I can obtain the complete secret arts of life and secret arts of death, perhaps there's still a chance. However, the complete secret arts of life and secret arts of death are in Ji Chufeng's hands. How can he give them to me? Ji Feishuan said with a bitter smile. Ji Chufeng had calculated everything clearly. After all, he had planned for 1,000,000 years so that he could completely control the Zhou Tian's life-death mirror today. He only left the incomplete secret arts in the Jade Wall of Life in order to attract people to the Musashi Mountain. Ji Feishuan no longer had any hope in her heart. The complete secret arts of life and secret arts of death? That might not be the case. Junior Apprentice Sister Ji, do your best. As for the secret arts of life and secret arts of death, leave them to me. I'll definitely give you the complete secret arts of death. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he stared at the Musashi Mountain that was enveloped by the sea of blood. Ling Xiao, don't be rash. Ji Feishuan panicked and hurriedly tried to persuade him. However, before she could finish her words, Ling Zhao's body flashed, and he instantly turned into a dazzling ray of light that shot out of the protection of the stone futon. Rumble! The blood-red flames that filled the sky surged towards Ling Xiao. They contained a monstrous baleful aura and an aura of death, causing Ling Xiao to feel chills all over his body. Even with his strong physical body, there was no way he could withstand such terrifying power. However, Ling Zhao's expression didn't change. A light flashed in his palm, and the cyclic sky seal instantly expanded and floated above his head. It sprinkled rays of dazzling light that protected him. Ji Chufeng had mobilized the power of the Styx's blood sea array and swallowed the majestic vitality that had been nurtured in the Musashi Mountain for millions of years. Naturally, it also broke the barrier that prohibited the Saint Dao energy. Ling Xiao could now use the cyclic sky seal to protect himself. "Marshal Uncle Long, what are you doing? Come back quickly." Enai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang were also taken aback by Ling Zhao's actions. Their eyes were filled with anxiety as they hurriedly yelled, "Hurry up!" Even Ji Tian, an 8th Revolution half-saint, had died in the Styx's blood sea array in an instant. Even if Ling Xiao had the cyclic sky seal, they didn't think that he could withstand it for long. Swoosh! Ling Zhao's gaze was extremely sharp. When he flew out of the life barrier, his terrifying saint aura filled the air as he mobilized the power of the cyclic sky seal. Like a bolt of purple lightning, his speed was extremely fast as he blasted towards the nearest blood pillar. Chapter 1765. Rumble! The light of chaos bloomed. The flipping sky seal contained a terrifying power that could annihilate everything. It bloomed directly on the blood pillar. In an instant, endless blood light filled the air. The blood pillars suddenly burst into pieces. Long Outyin broke the Styx blood sea array? Everyone's body trembled, and their eyes revealed an incomparably pleasantly surprised expression. Even the few people who were on the brink of despair had regained their spirit at this moment. "Long Outyin, as long as you save me, you'll be the savior of the 5 Dao sect. Senior Long, quickly break this array and save us. If Senior Long has any orders in the future, the Tian Luo sect will do anything for you. Senior Long, I was wrong. I shouldn't have followed Lu Yun and Wang Dao to scold you. As long as you save me, I'll scold those 2 bastards to death." Everyone began to make a big fuss, treating Ling Xiao as their savior, their only hope of escaping from this place. Everyone could see that the Styx blood sea array's foundation was the 49 blood pillars. Now that Ling Xiao had destroyed one of them with the cyclic sky seal, they saw the hope of breaking the array. "Long Outyin? You really don't know what's good for you. Could it be that you think you can break my Nether River blood sea grand formation?" Ji Chufeng's eyes turned cold, and his eyes were filled with icy killing intent. Rumble! Black and white divine light rose behind him, containing the true meaning of life and true meaning of death. They intertwined and pressed forward, and in an instant, the Styx blood sea array began to roll violently. The blood pillar that was destroyed by Ling Xiao reappeared out of thin air. Ling Zhao's eyes narrowed. He realized that the 49 blood pillars were actually condensed from the true meaning of life and true meaning of death. They were the true form of the great Dao and were not solid, but they were even stronger than solid. There was no way to completely destroy them. If Ling Xiao wanted to completely destroy the Styx blood sea array, he would have to kill Ji Chufeng and destroy the 49 blood pillars at the same time. Rumble! Ji Chufeng's eyes were cold as the blood-red light in the sky surged towards Ling Xiao. From the 49 blood pillars, terrifying blood demons rushed out one after another and charged towards Ling Xiao with a sinister smile. "Is there no way to destroy it? Then I'll drain the Styx's blood sea grand formation dry." Ling Zhao's eyes also revealed a trace of madness. Translator, Transin editor, Transin the flipping sky seal shone brightly, like a black divine mountain floating in the blood sea. It emitted a chaotic mist to protect Ling Xiao. Ling Zhao's entire body emitted a resplendent light, and a purple sun bloomed on his chest. In that instant, an incomparably terrifying devouring power erupted. Ling Xiao directly used the power of the wordless heaven book and sky-devouring secret technique. A terrifying purple vortex formed on his chest, and he used the indestructible saint technique as a disguise. Everyone only thought it was his indestructible calamity seed. They were unable to sense the presence of the wordless heaven book and sky-devouring secret technique. Boom! It was as if the void had been shattered. Purple chi spread out for 30,000 miles, covering the sky and the sun. It was as if a new sun had just leaped out of the sea and swallowed all the bloodlight in the sky. Even the extremely ferocious blood demons were crushed by the purple chi, turning into blood-red energy that merged into Ling Xiao's body. This was the first time Ling Xiao used the wordless heaven book and sky-devouring secret technique in the divine world. Although there was a risk of exposing the wordless heaven book, Ling Xiao had no choice but to give it his all. The Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation was simply too terrifying. Even though Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan were ranked on the first 2 stone praying mats, and their life enchantment was incomparably powerful, they still could not escape death after everyone else died. In order to break out of this situation, Ling Xiao had to let Ji Feishuan control the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Ling Xiao had already obtained the fragments of the life secret technique and death secret technique from the life jade wall. However, as long as the wordless heaven book could obtain enough energy, it would be able to fully display the 2 secret techniques. This was Ling Xiao's greatest trump card. As long as the life secret technique and death secret technique were completed, Ji Feishuan would be able to control the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Rumble. The wordless heaven book also began to get excited. Ever since Ling Xiao came to the divine world, it had not eaten a full meal for a long time. The wordless heaven book seemed to be extremely fond of dark and evil energy. For example, the Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation in front of Ling Xiao was formed by Ji Chufeng converting the boundless life energy of the Musashi Mountain into death energy and blood energy. These were great supplements for the wordless heaven book. As the energy of the Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation was devoured by Ling Xiao, the wordless heaven book also emitted a resplendent light in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. The life secret technique and death secret technique also began to gradually become complete. At the same time, the wordless heaven book also returned a portion of its energy into Ling Xiao's body. The boundless life energy was boundless and unparalleled. It flowed through Ling Xiao's limbs and bones, causing his aura to increase explosively. Not good. This Long Outyin is able to devour the formation's energy. It's too strange. I wonder if it's some kind of divine ability or secret technique that he cultivates himself or a treasure on him. Ji Chufeng's expression changed slightly. He could feel that the energy of the Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation was fading away. Previously, in Tian Capital, Ling Xiao had unleashed a powerful devouring power and devoured part of the Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation's energy. This left a deep impression on Ji Chufeng. He did not expect Ling Xiao to use the same trick again. Devouring the energy of the Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation? He's really courting death. Even if he has the flipping sky seal, he has to die. Summon the Styx's Blood Saint to explode and kill him. The charming woman was also slightly surprised, but she immediately sneered and said, "Don't worry. The Styx's Blood Saint? Alright." Ji Chufeng frowned slightly. The entire Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation had only nurtured 49 Styx's Blood Saints. It had taken him millions of years to nurture them, and they were his greatest reliance. Almost every one of them had the power of a 9-revolution half-saint. However, their battle prowess far exceeded that of a 9-revolution half-saint. If the 49 Styx's Blood Saints fused together, they would be as powerful as a saint. However, Ji Chufeng was also a ruthless person. He would not allow anyone to destroy his plan to control the Zhou Tian's life-death mirror. For this, he even killed his own son. Styx's Blood Saint, kill him. Chapter 1766. This was the Nether River Blood Saint, a terrifying existence born from the Nether River Blood Sea formation. Rumble. The two Nether River Blood Saints attacked at the same time. They rushed toward Ling Xiao. Horrible bloody light shone in all directions. Their chi was overwhelming. It was as if they only had the instinct to kill. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He realized that the two Nether River Blood Saints were powerful, but he was engulfing the power of the Nether River Blood Sea formation and had no time to care about them. Plus, he believed in the power of the Flipping Sky Seal. Rumble. Under the control of Thunder Spirit King, the Flipping Sky Seal exploded with terrifying power and crashed into the two Nether River Blood Saints. The two Nether River Blood Saints didn't dodge. Instead, the blood-red light around them exploded. The two Nether River Blood Saints blew themselves up against the Flipping Sky Seal. The terrifying blood-red light spread out and shattered the void. The Flipping Sky Seal was drowned by the blood-red light. The self-destruction of the two Nether River Blood Saints was like two real saints. The terrifying power sent the Flipping Sky Seal flying. Even Ling Xiao, who was protected by the Flipping Sky Seal, felt his blood boil. He tasted something sweet in his throat and blood trickled down the corner of his mouth. Master, this is not good. The two blood-red figures are too terrifying. Although they aren't as powerful as real saints, they aren't far off. I'm afraid the Flipping Sky Seal won't be able to hold on for long. The Thunder Spirit King said anxiously. His voice was weak. Clearly, the self-destruction of the two Nether River Blood Saints had injured him. After all, Thunder Spirit King hadn't become a saint yet. He couldn't completely control the power of the Flipping Sky Seal. No matter what, we have to hold on. If we can't, we'll all die. Once I devour enough energy, it will be Ji Chufeng's death. Ling Xiao said with a hint of madness in his eyes. Okay, let's fight. Master, don't worry. Even if I die, I won't let this bastard hurt you. The Thunder Spirit King instantly became furious. Rumble. There was a bloody mist around Thunder Spirit King. It was the blood of the Blood God, the most original power in Thunder Spirit King's body. Instantly, it merged into the Flipping Sky Seal. The Flipping Sky Seal seemed to have awakened an incomparably terrifying power. It was ancient and mysterious, shaking the heavens and rolling in the endless blood sea. Even the Styx Blood Sea formation could not cover the light of the Flipping Sky Seal. Damn it. Styx River Blood Saint, let's see how long you can last. Ji Chufeng's face darkened. He could feel that Ling Xiao was still devouring the power of the Styx Blood Sea formation. However, Ling Xiao was protected by the Flipping Sky Seal and was like a tortoise shell. Ji Chufeng found it difficult to attack him. He summoned 10 blood saints of the Styx River. They were like 10 blood-red suns rising from the blood sea, emitting a terrifying aura. The 10 figures rushed toward the Flipping Sky Seal at the same time. Rumble. The 10 blood saints of the Styx River exploded at the same time. The terrifying power was 10 times or even dozens of times stronger than before. The terrifying power hit the Flipping Sky Seal, causing it to tremble violently. The power of the void shattering poured into the Flipping Sky Seal, causing Ling Xiao and Thunder Spirit King to be injured to varying degrees. The Flipping Sky Seal buzzed and shook violently. In an instant, it broke free from the bloody light and turned the 10 blood saints of the Styx River into a bloody mist. Ling Xiao took the opportunity to activate the power of the wordless heavenly book and devoured all the bloody mist and bloody energy in the sky. Ling Xiao spat out another mouthful of blood. His aura became weak, but his eyes became brighter and crazier. Ha! I'll kill you. I'd like to see how many blood demons you can summon. Thunder Spirit King laughed crazily. Although his aura had become extremely weak, he still patted his chest. Immediately, a bloody mist of primordial spirit spread out and poured into the Flipping Sky Seal. Rumble. Ling Xiao was still devouring the power of the Styx River Blood Sea formation, causing the void to tremble violently. It was as though a bloody storm had formed. However, during this process, another dozen or so stone mats had their life barriers broken. The dozen or so geniuses on them all screamed as they turned into a bloody mist, becoming nourishment for the Styx Blood Sea array. Brother Lu, what should we do? I don't think Long Outyin can hold on for long. When the life-bounded domain is broken, I'm afraid we'll all die here. Wang Dao, the holy son of the Five Elements Saint sect, said with a hint of anxiety in his eyes. I don't know what to do either. In this Styx River Blood Sea formation, it's impossible for us to send a message to the sect. Now, we can only hope that Ling Xiao can hold on for a while longer. Lu Yun said with a bitter smile. There was a trace of disappointment and despair in his eyes. Only now did they realize that the status of holy son that they were so proud of was nothing in the face of absolute strength. Ji Chufeng could even kill his own son, let alone the two of them. Ji Chufeng really deserves to die. However, I seem to have heard of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. It's an extreme Dao Emperor weapon from ancient times. Could it be that Ji Chufeng wants to sacrifice us to refine Zhou Tian's life and death mirror? Wang Dao said slowly with a trace of blazing light in his eyes. So what if it's an extreme Dao Emperor weapon? There's nothing we can do now. If the sect knows about this, they'll definitely send out holy ancestors to take back Zhou Tian's life and death mirror at the cost of billions of lives in the great Zhou divine nation. Lu Yun said slowly. Both of them felt a sense of helplessness in their hearts. They could only watch helplessly as the life barriers of the 36 stone praying mats were broken one after another. Then, the geniuses within them were killed by the Styx Blood Sea array. However, there was nothing they could do. Rumble. The blood-red divine light that filled the sky poured into Ling Xiao's body, making the wordless heavenly book in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness even more dazzling. An ancient and mysterious aura bloomed. The wordless heavenly book was surrounded by chaotic energy, as if a mysterious shadow of a world was emerging. The secret arts of life and secret arts of death were becoming more and more complete. All Styx River Blood Saints, explode. Kill Ji Feishuan. Ji Chufeng's eyes revealed a trace of ferocious killing intent as he pointed at Ji Feishuan. He actually gave up on targeting Ling Xiao. Instead, he summoned all the blood saints of the Styx River. He wanted to completely destroy Ji Feishuan's life force barrier and kill her. Chapter 1767. Rumble. The remaining 37 Nether River Blood Saints emerged from the blood pearls at the same time. They were surrounded by bloody light and exuded an aura of death that could annihilate everything. Ling Xiao's continuous absorption of the energy of the Nether River Blood Sea array had alerted Ji Chufeng. Seeing that even the 12 Nether River Blood Saints couldn't break through the defense of the Flipping Sky Seal, Ji Chufeng decided to stop targeting Ling Xiao. Instead, he summoned the 37 Nether River Blood Saints to attack Ji Feishuan. As long as he could break Ji Feishuan's life enchantment and kill her, he would be able to control the Zhou Tian mirror of life and death. All he had to do was spend more time to refine it. You're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a murderous intent. Although Ji Feishuan was sitting on the first stone futon and the life enchantment was the strongest, Ling Xiao wasn't sure if the life enchantment could stop the 37 Nether River Blood Saints. If Ji Feishuan died in Ji Chufeng's hands, it wouldn't be of much use even if Ling Xiao obtained the complete secret technique of life and secret technique of death. Rumble. Ling Xiao's terrifying saint aura exploded. He controlled the Flipping Sky Seal and turned into a ray of purple divine light. He pierced through the void and blocked Ji Feishuan's path. Thunder Spirit King also began to fight with all his might. The Flipping Sky Seal was pushed to the extreme by him. It turned into a mountain that was tens of thousands of feet tall. Chaotic mist filled the air as purple divine light rose, illuminating the area like the sun. You're courting death. Heavenly Lady, it's up to you now. Ji Chufeng's eyes were indifferent. He revealed a hint of mockery as though he had expected Ling Xiao to come to Ji Feishuan's rescue. Don't worry. I like this little brother's body very much. Hee hee, the charming woman giggled. In an instant, she turned into a red shadow and also merged into the Styx Blood Sea formation. She silently flew towards Ling Xiao. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The 37 Nether River Blood Saints all activated their strongest power. They began to swell, and their bodies shone with blood-red light. They were like blood-red suns rising into the sky. Then, they exploded with a loud boom. The blood-red light crashed into the flipping sky seal, causing it to tremble violently and shatter the void around it. Chaotic mist filled the air as terrifying fluctuations were released. It was as if the world was going to be destroyed. Ling Xiao's body also shook violently. Every explosion caused him to spit out a mouthful of blood, causing his face to turn even paler. The cyclic sky seal was strong, but it was only a holy treasure. Ling Xiao's cultivation was still too weak. He couldn't fully control the power of the cyclic sky seal. The self-destruction of the 37 Nether River Blood Saints had dealt an unimaginable blow to the cyclic sky seal. It had also severely injured Ling Xiao. Otherwise, if it were any other flawless holy treasure, in the face of such a suicidal explosion, it would have been blown to smithereens long ago. A blood-colored divine light enveloped Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan. The blood-colored divine light contained the energy of death and intertwined with the true meaning of life. It caused the life barrier around Ji Feishuan to tremble violently. Fortunately, most of the power of the self-destruction of the 37 Blood Saints of the Styx River was blocked by Ling Xiao and the flipping sky seal. In the end, only a small part of it landed on the Ward of Life. Although the power of the Ward of Life weakened, it was still blocked in the end. Ling Xiao, you don't have to risk your life like this. Ji Feishuan's eyes were filled with worry. She was even touched and deeply touched, but there was nothing she could do. Ling Xiao stood in front of her. Although his body was trembling violently, he did not take a step back. His spine was like a peerless divine sword, proud and unyielding. At this moment, Ling Xiao's figure was forever imprinted in Ji Feishuan's heart. Ha! Ji Chufeng. Could it be that you only have this much power? Nether River Blood Saint? You're just an undeserved reputation. I'm right here. I'd like to see how you're going to kill us. Ling Xiao's face was extremely pale, but his eyes were extremely bright. He revealed an unruly sharpness as he laughed heartily at Ji Chufeng. Rumble! The purple divine sun on his chest spewed out light. Although the self-destruction of the 37 Nether River Blood Saints caused unimaginable damage to Ling Xiao and the flipping sky seal, Ling Xiao did not give up on devouring the power of the Nether River Blood Sea Array. He even devoured the remaining power of the 37 Nether River Blood Saints. The flipping sky seal became a little dim. The Thunder Spirit King also became dispirited. His figure became extremely illusory as though he would fall into a deep sleep at any time. As the majestic blood-red energy was devoured by Ling Xiao, the wordless heavenly book exploded with a dazzling light. The secret skill of life and the secret skill of death were completely perfected at this moment. The ancient heavenly book slowly opened. The mysterious patterns seemed to contain the truth of heaven and earth. Lines of runes merged into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness and formed two extremely ancient and mysterious scriptures. Heavenly Star Constellation Number 23, Secret Skill of Life. The 24th Heavenly Dipper Secret Skill of Death. The true meaning of these two supreme secret skills merged into Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. It was as though he had experienced hundreds of millions of life and death situations in an instant. He saw the origin of life and death. His entire body began to emit an extremely ethereal aura. Long Outyan, you deserve to die. Ji Chufeng's expression was a little ugly. He revealed a monstrous killing intent. He did not expect that the self-destruction of the 37 Nether River Blood Saints would not be able to kill Ling Xiao. These 49 Nether River Blood Saints were the trump cards that he had accumulated for 1,000,000 years. Now that they had all gone to waste, his heart was bleeding. However, as long as he could obtain Zhou Tian's life and death mirror, as long as he could control this supreme emperor weapon, everything was worth it. Ji Chufeng continued to mobilize the power of the Nether River Blood Sea Array to attack the people on the stone futon. Ji Feishuan was naturally the most important. Buzz! At this moment, A blood-red shadow silently approached Ling Xiao. The space rippled like water. The blood-red shadow emitted a faint fragrance and shot into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness at an extremely fast speed. At this moment, Ling Xiao was completely attracted by the secret art of life and the secret art of death. When the blood-red shadow entered his sea of consciousness, he suddenly became alert. Who are you? You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.